Hiya! 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 Oh, you can't hear me. Can you hear me? 1, 2. Oh, you can't hear me. You can't hear me. Hold on. There we go. That's what was up. I might be a wee bit quiet. I know I'm alright. I'm doing alright. Hello, everybody. How you doing? Welcome in. I'm 10:30. It's 10:30. Welcome to the bloody show. How's it even going, man? What's even happening? Hello, hello, hello. Hiya. I'm in the Twitch purple as well. 100% I'm in the Twitch purple. Terrible Clint. What just happened there, Terrible Clint? You just subbed, but you didn't get a bubble blast. I was away next door getting my tea, right? And I see a puddle of bubbles here, but the scene wasn't changed and all of that. So I don't really know, Terrible Clint, what happened there. But I do know that you deserve a bubble blast. However... Aye, that'll do. That's your bubble blast. Terrible Clint, thank you very much for subbing. Welcome in. How's it going? And welcome in, everybody. And how you doing, everybody? And also welcome in, everybody. If you're just joining, I'm just joining as well. And it's because the stream has just started, and that's how that works. Goodness me. Bowdy here, how you doing? Thank you very, very much. Welcome in. And also, how's it going? Afternoon, Gaffer. Good to see you back. Hello, how you doing? Can you hear music currently? You can't hear music. You should be able to hear music. Well, if you can't hear music, let me just stop the music. But you should have been able to hear background music there. Let me have a wee look when I'm off stream. And I'll hopefully rectify that. But first, welcome in, everybody. How you doing? I don't know if you can tell with my poorly voice, but I've got a very slight cold. I would go as far as to say I'm very slightly no well, and that's a wee shame. Just so that you know. So straight off the bat, I would like to start by complaining that I'm just a wee bit... right? However, got hankies, so it's fine. Also, when I'm complaining, and I will be doing a wee bit of complaining, I haven't slept last night at all. So I slept a lot yesterday, and again, it's just my unwellness. I've got a very slight cold, and so I've had it for about 4 days, and I'm just like, So today, I feel a lot better than I've had for ages, right? But I'm underslept and all of that. Welcome in, folks. How's it going? Bowdy, thank you very much for the Hydrate Redemption. I breezed one of them in, and I can taste it right up here to where the sore bit in my throat is sore. That's not happened before. I wonder if you could see that in the VOD. I happened to inhale through my mouth at the worst possible time there. Valdrakian, how you doing, Valdrakian? What a wonderful person. Welcome in, and how's it going? Goodness me, I'm remembering how to stream. I'm remembering to close my mouth when the bubbles happen. And 87 Roll Duke, how you doing? Sorry, it was 87 Roll Duke first. And then it was your Valdrakian. Hello, 87 Roll Duke. And hello, Valdrakian 31. Hello, how's it going? And hello, Matty by the Tree. Thank you very much for subbing, Matty by the Tree. Hiya, how's it going? Valdrakian and 87 Roll Duke. And Bowdy, yous are all class. And Terrible Clint. And just in... Kablam, how you doing, Kablam? Thanks very much for gifting a sub there to Honkin' Farts, Kablam. I think that was one bubble blast for Kablam and one for Honkin' Farts. I knew something was missing. It's the bloody bubble till. Listen, it's been ages since I've saw you a lot. Could you tell me if you've got any good news? I would like to know what your good news is. Big or small, stick it in chat. I was supposed to go to Blind Boy last night, and I didn't go to Blind Boy just because I was feeling a wee bit ill. I was probably feeling well enough to go, but I just didn't want to be the guy who goes to an event and sits coughing throughout it. You know? If I went to a thing and somebody showed up ill and was sitting kind of near me, I'd just be like that. I'd be raging for the full thing. So I didn't even give the tickets away. I just didn't. I should have put it on Discord. I should have gave the tickets to one of you, but I never. Was anybody at Blind Boy last night? I believe the guest was Frankie Boyle. Was it good? Animated Gamer, welcome in. How's it going? Thank you very much for the sub and Kablam. Once again, thanks for giving the sub to Honkin' Farts. Mighty by the Tree. Did I say your old name earlier? Mighty by the Tree, Valdrakian, 87 Duke, and Bowdy and Terrible Clint. Thank you very, very much. Welcome in, everybody. And also, how's it going? You sound a little hoarse. All good? I'm just very slightly. I've got a very slight cold. But I'm doing all right. I won't sneeze and splutter and blow my nose or anything on stream. You won't hear any bad ill noises, right? Because I'll just mute the thing. But I've got some stuff to show you, by the way. I've got some stuff to show you. Beneath Headphones, there wasn't a stream yesterday. Let's start at the top. Bass Embrace, SSRIs, Beneath Headphones, Echo Thump, Cure Puppy. John Atfield, hello, how's it going? Neil TB, welcome in. You need to put the bins out, Neil TB. I don't know, it's a different day. Hello, Skywatcher77. Did you renew your sub yesterday back on the SSRIs? I see that you did that. Although it says that it came up 12 days ago. But that's maybe what's up. But thank you very much everybody for coming in. Hello Cherry Burns. Bass Embrace says, my powers of manifestation are more powerful than I dared dream. Aye. Not only Bass Embrace, not only did you manifest, but you accurately predicted the title of the stream. Right at the start of the stream, Bass Embrace says, could today be the day? That's before I even went live. Bass Embrace is in chat like that. Oh, I wonder if 10:30's maybe. Thank you, Bass Embrace, for doing that, by the way. Break my wee heart here. But welcome in, everybody. Hello, Mike Almond. Sub message here. Thank you very much for your Prime sub. I appreciate that. Is everybody doing all right? I hope everybody's doing all right. I'm trying to think if I've got any news for you. I don't. Hello, Steph Makes Stuff. Welcome in. Skywatcher, John Atfield, Kablam, how you doing? Sandy Bogrel, how's it going? Oh, so could you hear the music there when it was going? Ah, well. I just ended it. I couldn't see it on that output. I've been doing some stream stuff. Kiriami, welcome in. How you doing? Who's this guy and where has he been hiding? Hello, how you doing? I'm 10:30. Welcome to the 10:30 stream. I've not been doing great, by the way. Like, I've got a wee bit of a cold and stuff like that. But I've taken, like, I don't even know how much time to just, like, try and restore and recover. And I thought that would help me to get, like, a bit of rest and stuff like that. But it hasn't really. It put me into, like, a mad funk. And it was weird. So I was in kind of, a sort of shitter place, Airdrie, for a good couple of weeks there. Tommy Bobbins, how you doing, Tommy Bobbins? Thank you very much for 11 months, Tommy Bobbins. Thank you very, very much. Does anybody notice any differences? Yes, I have got my hair wet. I mean, I've had a shower. But other than that, does anybody notice any differences? Hello, Lead Belly, Channel 13. How's it going? Feels good to be back, by the way. Balmer and 10:30 back on the same day. 100%. I have been looking at other streamers on Rust. And I've been considering jump into Rust. But I really think Rachel will leave me if I jump back into Rust. So, I'm no sure. Funk Albert, how's it going? Welcome in, Husey. Husey said, I had sleep paralysis for the first time in about 15 years last night. That's fucking terrifying, Husey. My God. See, back in the day, before we had, like, science and stuff, no wonder they thought that witches and demons and stuff were real, because they had to contend with things like sleep paralysis. Hope you're doing all right. Keezy says, I hope it's no this cold that's kicking about. I've had it for a fortnight, lingering like a bad smell. I believe it is, Keezy's. I believe indeed it is this cold that's kicking about. So Rachel my partner, came home from work about a week ago saying there was somebody in my work just coughing and spluttering all day. And they came into work and they didn't have to come into work. And they were just coughing and spluttering all about the place. And I bet you I've got the cold. And then the next day, Rachel woke up. She's like, oh, so I'm like, brilliant, brilliant. 4 days later, I woke up and I'm like, oh. But I think about the other side of it. It's all right. Although last night began to get a wee bit sort of fevery, which was, I've not had that for a wee while. Anyway, I hope you're feeling better soon, Keezies. Bowdy is in with a wee bit of good news, and listen, everybody, if you've got any good news, please stick it in the chat. My good news is that Rudders has just subbed. Good afternoon, Rudders. Welcome in. How's it going? I hope you're doing all right. Thanks very much for subbing. I've got some stuff to show you because although I have been away from my stream for a wee bit, been a wee bit busy with various things. So I want to show you what I've been up to. But first, I'd like to share any good news that you might or might not have. Bowdy is in with a wee bit of good news. Bowdy says, good news, got a new car. The Bowdmobile is electric and super ace. That's fucking class, Bowdy. Congratulations. I've been meaning to learn to drive for years. And who knows, man, this year might be the year. Who knows? I'll stick it on the to-do list. But that sounds class. Getting a new car is all feel like growing up. It's a bit of a grown up thing, isn't it? Like, I'm nearly 40. And I still don't fully feel like I'm an actual real adult. Hello, B. Dolan, how you doing? Thanks for a bunch of months. Just a wee casual bunch of months. B. Dolan, thank you very much. And listen, everybody, here's something that I haven't really promoted. And it's something that's kind of cool. Did you know that in my gap, my hiatus from Twitch, I was actually still making some excellent content? So, if you go onto the B. Dolan YouTube page, I can't find it. I've just typed, there he is. This guy, man, you know him. He's in chat. He's just dropped some subs and stuff. We know him. However, B. Dolan has now got a... Do excuse me, right here, be with you in just a second. Oh, did that Bubble Blast leave me in the content screen there? Or did that Bubble Blast pull me out to here? Because it should have pulled me out to here, even though I think I was in here. I'll need to have a look at the bubble stuff. Anyway, the gist is, if you go onto Dolan's YouTube, he's now got a section called Games with James. And have we done 3 of these? We've done 2 of them. But you can sit and watch myself and B. Dolan try to play a game. And it's good, man. So we've done 2 of these. And if anybody's looking for anything to watch, I will link you to these at the end of the stream. And maybe instead of a raid, you can all go and watch that. Hold on, I'll link them to you just now as well, because everybody really should be following Dolan on YouTube. But how's it going, everybody? Welcome in. What's even happening? I'm trying to think if I've got any news for you. Any stories that have happened. If I feel like I've missed a lot. Here is B. Dolan's YouTube. So if you go onto there, it blasted in the content screen. That's weird, isn't it? I'm going to have to look at my Bubble Blast logic. So, the deal is, right, I did change my Bubble Blast logic a wee bit recently, because I changed the Bubble Blast logic, and I think I've just gubbed it, right? But I've changed it so that these screens should come on when I'm doing the Bubble Blasts, because I've set up all sorts of stuff. Scroobius Pip, I'm no back on Rust. I've been considering going back in Rust, but I'm no back in Rust. I think Rachel might leave me if I go back into Rust. So I'm not doing it. But I really want to do it. I was watching Balmer play it earlier. I've been watching somebody else play it. I can't remember who I was watching play it. It's all very good. Is it TAF's server? I've heard that it's just straight up PvP as well. So that's good. Everybody knows where they are. PvP, no messing about. But my goodness. Bromo says, I was there last night. It was a decent show. I enjoyed it. Frankie Boyle was very funny. I wish I'd went, but I'm no very well, so I didn't go. Fozzy69. Fozzy69, how you doing? Thank you very much for subbing. Welcome in. Thank you for 24 months. Did the tellies go in there? No, I don't think it did. I think the tellies might have went on there. I think they should have. Right, I'll keep an eye out during the next Bubble Blast to see if these televisions... That one shouldn't go on, but these two should. I'll need to keep an eye out. And right here... They did. Look, these tellies are coming on. Do you see that? And then they switch off. So the televisions are switching on, but it just takes a wee bit of time for them to warm up. And then they'll go off because everybody, since I saw you last, I've invented a whole new type of home automation. And I'm going to talk to you a wee bit about that quite soon. There are bulbs that you get, right, off the internet and like plug sockets and stuff like that. And they're designed to be controlled via apps. And they're all bogus for like various reasons. Every single one of them's bogus. Every time you switch on a light, it goes via a server in China somewhere, and it's pure mining Bitcoin and all of that. But I've hacked them, right? I've hacked some Internet of Things to your devices, if that means anything to anybody. And I've created some cool stuff out it. So I don't know if that cool stuff... Look at that, Look, I've got a lamp and it's got a colour, right? But you might not like the colour red. Nah. So how's about if I just use my concentration and turn that red into a blue? I did that, right? And you might go into other streamers' streams and see that they've got coloured lights. And now I've got coloured lights. You might think, oh, good, you've bought some Philips Hue. No, I haven't. That's the thing. I haven't. I've not bought the fancy Elgato ones or anything like that. I've bought the cheap shite that doesn't work with streaming stuff, and I've made it work with streaming stuff. So it's not just this, right? I should be able to adjust the brightness of this. Do you know what I mean? So you can do that. The brightness kind of works. I can make it green if I want. Right? But it's not just that lamp, right? Because that would be a wee bit anticlimactic. It's not just that lamp. It's fucking this lamp as well. What? So that lamp behind me is red currently. What if I want it blue? Blue. There you go. What if I want it green to match this one? Oh, green, there you go. I could do that easy peasy. All the colours. I could do all the colours. So there you go. I've got two lamps that go off and on. So I can turn them off like this. And then I can turn them back on like this. There we go, job done. But that's not all. I can also turn my tellies on and off with a switch. So this idea is cool, right? Because remember, my televisions used to be switched on all the time throughout the stream. And that was cool because everybody that sorry, I'm suffering here. Everybody that subbed or gave bets or whatever, your name would come up here and you would visually be celebrated on the tellies, right? However, look, the telly goes on. Your name doesn't come up yet, but that telly goes on and that's exciting. With all the tellies set up and stuff like that, my electricity bill for the months where all the tellies are on during a stream, it's literally over £200 more expensive to have 3 mini CRTs and 1 big CRT switched on for, 4 or 5 hours a day for about five days a week. It's over £200 a month to make that happen. But I've spent weeks of my life trying to get this set up working, right? And I think it's cool, man. It's like a cool interactive thing. If somebody subs, I want their pictures to pop up here and all that sort of stuff. So I thought, right, I'll build a thing where instead of the telly's being on all the time and the name comes up, I will just switch the televisions on for like 10 seconds at a time or something like that and have the name switched up. So it's kind of a work in progress, and I'm in the middle of doing that. So the way I'm achieving that is by using these things here, but I've hacked them. So this here is a plug socket, obviously. You put your electronic device into this, you put that into the wall, and then if you've got a special app, the exact same app that you need to turn your lights off and on, if you've got that app, then you can easily control. If you've got the app, you can easily control your lights and all of that sort of stuff. However, the app doesn't talk to StreamerBot or any of the stuff on stream stuff, right? So, if you've got lights and all this shite on your stream and you want them like to be turned off and on when it comes to like raids and all that sort of stuff, there's a separate company and you can give them money, and it's a subscription service you need to pay for, even though you've already bought the lights, even though you physically own the lights. In order to get your Twitch stuff sent to the lights to make them glow and all of that, you're talking about £15 a month for a service called Lumina Stream. I'm not doing that. I'm not paying £15 a month so that I can turn on lights that I already own. I'm not doing that. So instead of doing all of that and looking into it all, and I just completely circumvented it. So I used ChatGPT to build a Python script that's based on a command line interface tool called Tuya CLI. I've got over about 300 lines of code, and it took me a couple of weeks. So now I can do all the fancy light stuff. So, and I suppose anybody with these Tuya lights, the cheapest of the cheap lights that you can get on eBay and stuff, can now do all the fancy stuff if you've got my code. So I'm going to clean it up a bit because I reckon it's bloated to fuck, man. It works. I've demonstrated it works. But I'm going to clean it up a bit and then stick it on GitHub. So if there's any streamers or whatever, because you can do cool stuff like this. Oh, that's exciting, isn't it? So I've got one up here and I've got one down here on the ground. And what you can do is even just like change the colour of them. Like this a wee bit. Do you know what I mean? And that'll look at this. So I believe we're in a new era of stream entertainment. What I will say is this is too bright for me now because so I need to adjust the brightness. I need to have a tool that can easily adjust the brightness, basically. So maybe just pick a colour that's a bit less vibrant. Like that. And then the idea is that I've got different scenes. So I've created presets. I've coded a preset functionality into my thing. Basically, I stayed in the house. I took like an autistic spell of bad mental health. Didn't talk to anybody. And I've got right into this one task of I've got presets, man. Look green. You into green? Bang, everything's green. Every light in the room now is green. That's cool. What about like a blue preset? Boom, there you go, blue. And these turn blue as well. So I can set up all sorts of presets and have it all working lovely. So this is what I've been working on. And then on top of that, I wonder if this is set up. On top of that, I bought, so for all these things, I never paid any money because these are lights and stuff that I've already had. I bought these ages ago to hopefully work on my stream. And then I realised I had to pay £15 a month for that Lumina software. And then I'm like, fuck that. So all these lights have been just in the loft for 2 years, 3 years. Got them out, plugged them in, solved this big problem by coding stuff for scratch. And now boom shakalaka, there we go. So in addition to that, I've also got... I've not plugged it in. So there's this other light that I've got here, and it's a big floodlight, and it just sort of fills in this back bit. It's 100 watts as opposed to the 30 watt lights that you can see here. However, I bought the wrong light. So it cost me 20 quid. The only light that I bought to make all this happen cost me 20 quid, and it arrived, and it's Bluetooth only rather than Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. So I tried to return it. The guy's like, I'll give you £2, but you just keep it. And I'm like, I'd like to return it. He's like, eBay, isn't it? But aye, so I'm thinking about getting just a bigger one to kind of blast all of that. But other than that, I think it's good. Also, right, this one here, let's see if I can show you what this is like. So this one here not only does like cool colours and stuff like that, right, but it does actual like light as well. So I could turn this on. And so that's the reason, that's why there's a lamp here. Because I've been looking into lighting. I've been looking into cinematography. And I've reset up all my light. I've redone all the camera calibration. So I should now be perfectly exposed, I think. My face should now, if I look at it with false colour on, my face, oh, you can't see because, there you go. So this is me with false colour. Does anybody know about false colour? Like that. So I think we're getting, what's this, a contrast ratio of about 3:1. The green is, or well, between the green and the pink is middle grey. So I think this means that technically, mathematically, my skin is exposed correctly. So that's all quite exciting, isn't it? That's all very, very exciting. So what I need to do is set up presets for the background that's at the right brightness, because this brightness is a bit too bright for me, because your background should be about 2 stops below middle grey if your skin is exposed at middle grey, maybe 1 stop under. So I'm going to get all that good for you, and I'm going to make the stream the best that it can possibly be. So that's what I've been up to. And you know what I'm like, man? Just like a mad existence. See where it's 4 a.m. and you're in like day 10 of coding some bespoke thing that nobody's asked you for. That, okay, I don't know, man. Sometimes I just catch myself. I'm like, what are you doing? It's hard to describe. I want to read a lot more stuff that's been written by autistic people about autistic burnout, because it happens to me maybe every couple of years, and I just want to know more about it. I think it will always happen, but I would just like to be equipped, because this is what I tend to do. I tend to shut everything off and just pick some really obtuse thing, don't know, connecting my Wi-Fi lights, and just rip the arse out of them and get to the absolute fucking bottom of it. I don't think it's a good thing. I don't think it's good. Yes, it is good that I can now make my background turn purple, but as a wise man once said, but at what cost? You know? So we've got stream stuff set up. It can go red. That's cool, isn't it? If we want it to. I'm going to pick blue for the time being, because I've got a nice Twitch purple. Should we try and perfectly replicate the Twitch purple as much as we can? What about this? What about this? That's getting there. And then what about this one here? Twitch purple. Bit too ready. Bring it down to about here-ish, maybe? I'll go with that. Quite like that. Quite like that. Feeling very underexposed around all of here and stuff. So I've got like a key light. However, my light kind of broke. So this is one of my lights. And it just broke. And I'm not going to buy a new light. So it's kind of now just balanced on top of a thing. But the whole vibe, right, the whole reason why there's a lamp here as well is to motivate the light. Do you know about motivating the light? So that lamp that I just showed you, right, If this didn't have a blue bulb in it, if that was like this colour, it looks as if this light here is coming through the lamp. Kinda. Do you know what I mean? So this is called motivated lighting. That's me just demonstrating a wee bit of motivated lighting in my Twitch setup. Do you know any other Twitch streamers that have got motivated lighting and that use false colour to expose their skin, and they're aware of the contrast ratio of their face? Do you know any other Twitch streamers that's sacrificed their relationships and mental health and career to isolate for 14 days in order to write a custom Python script to interface Chinese cheap Internet of Thing devices in order to remotely operate them via StreamerBot? Because I don't. But that's what I've been up to. That's absolutely everything that I've been up to. Relaxes Max says, good news, I accepted a job offer this morning. Congratulations. It's been a hot minute since my last one, so I'm pretty hyped. And yes, I used the star method. Relax Max, that's fantastic. That is really fantastic. Congratulations. Absolutely brilliant. Bromo, you enjoyed Blind Boy? Fantastic. I'm gutted I didn't end up going in the end. But as you can hear, just a wee bit groggy thing. Mighty by the Tree says, good news, I started working freelance at a company I used to work full time at. Now I can just get the projects done without the bullshit like meetings. Fucking yes, Matty by the Tree. I'm currently working freelance for a company that I used to work as an employee. Freelance pays better. You don't need to do all the things. And everybody expects you to just go in, do all your work, and then head home. As opposed to like, okay, well, I'd like to use my time here to steer my career towards X. No, if you're freelance. Hello, I'm here to do the work. Bang, bang, bang. Right, up the road. I highly recommend going freelance to anybody who's considering it. It's worked out good for me. Mighty by Tree, Mike, some respect and congratulations to you. Hello, Avgas, welcome in. How you doing? Meg Williams, got rid of the shelves. I got rid of the shelves, so the shelves are now over here. That took about 2 days as well. I moved, for anybody who's physically been in this room, I saw Scroobius Pip was in earlier. If you're still in, B. Dolan's been in this room. It's now all better. Anybody who's been in this room for Twitch, they come in the room and they go, right, aye. Because anything out with this frame just looks like shit, man. It's a mess. There's just stuff everywhere and it's a mess. Whereas now all that looks a wee bit better, which is kind of good. Chameleon, welcome in. How you doing? Thank you very much for subbing. Afternoon all, folks. All change in the setup, it seems. Good news, kind of. I have hit 40 today, and I went and bought myself a big cake. Chameleon, are you 40? My God. Chameleon, happy bloody birthday. And can we please get a big happy birthday, if it hasn't already happened 11 minutes ago, for Chameleon in the chat, please? Chameleon, happy birthday. Here, check this out, man. Do you want an armpit fart happy birthday rendition? Let's see if I can achieve this. This is to Chameleon, who turned 40 today. Chameleon. Place is honking of farts. Animated Gamer says, good news, a new wee kitten just joined the family. Oh my God, I've missed loads of everybody. They're all getting cats and jobs and having birthdays and all of that. Funkle Albert, thank you very much. Animated Gamer, what are you calling your cat? Funkle Albert, thank you very, very much for the sub. Get Jeffed, I will get Jeffed. And Fozzy69, thanks for the sub and right here and Beat On. How you doing? Thank you very, very much. Kariami says 10:30, we're here for you. If you need a hug, just give us a shout. Please stay away from me, thanks, Kariami. But all the very best, but please don't physically, thank you and all very best. Thank you though, Kariami. It's wonderful for you to say that. Funkle Funk Albert says, 10:30, I can't help but notice the shelves have moved. Now, as someone who knows how much fucking cool shit was on there, please can you confirm that you didn't put it all on a skip? Thanks. Funk Albert, you were one of the people that I was just thinking about folk that have came in the room and went, oh. Can I show you the room setup? Can I show you this? What's the Droid Cam it's called, isn't it? I've not tested this out, and this probably won't work. This probably won't work. I'm trying to... Now, sometimes I do a thing with my phone. Oh, I've even got improvements for this. I don't think Droid Cam will work because I've been... I'll get that working the next time. But I was going to use the phone to show you the rest of the room. We've got the bubble robot in the corner, right? I've moved the shelves over here next to the bubble robot, so that is another like really heavy thing that's near the bubble robot. I can't show you it, but I will. Also, if you've been watching the stream for a long time, you'll know that I like to attach the phone to my head sometimes, walk about like that. However, I've got a new thing. So, does anybody remember the Bob Dylan harmonica thing that I had? Where you put the phone in the bit and it sort of comes round here, but it was kind of bouncy. It was all sort of bouncing about. I've got a better one of them. So that means that loft streams and stuff like that, it's going to be a lot better. And, see, after a stream with a phone strapped to my head, there is like a physical side of that is sore. And I think maybe because of my damage. I think I've got... Well, I do have back problems, right? But I've noticed after a couple of hours with a phone strapped to the front of my head, in here can get really, really sore. So, we're putting a line under strapping a phone to my head. The phone is now going to be on a device that's mounted to my sternum. I got this delivered yesterday. I've tested it about. It looks great. It looks brilliant. So other than me being able to physically sort of move about and puppeteer the camera like that, operate the camera like that, I'll now need to sort of do like this. But I'm happy with that. And it's a wee bit less seasick feeling. You know what I mean? So that's kind of good. The WWF belt is gone. 10:30 is back on the hash. I'm no back on the hash, base and brace. The belt is just up here, but you can't see it. But it's definitely there. However, I'm considering selling it. I'm considering doing a big clear out, man. Funkle Albert says, I had sleep paralysis once as a kid. I couldn't move my head to see, but I was sure I was being watched by hooded figures with red eyes glowing in the dark. It was so horrible that I remembered the date in case it happened the following year. It didn't. I got better. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. I love that it might happen, like, on that date. I get, like, the mechanism is, like, somehow time-based. I like that you... that you made that sort of conclusion, like some sort of haunted, like an evil day or something like that. I got sleep things when I was younger, but it wasn't the paralysis, more of a like a waking sleep thing. So I was half sleeping, but I would be consumed by fear, and I would just be not visually hallucinating, but just my mind is like a bit confused by things. So that happened a good few times when I was a child. And the last time it happened, I was about 15. And I knew what was going on because it happened to me about 3 times. I think the earliest I was about 5 years old. It's probably, let's say 5, 10 and 15 years old is when it's happened to me. And when I was 15, I was living with my parents. And even though, like, 15, you're basically an adult, right? And I had to just go in the middle of the night and just kick my dad out his own bed. I'm like, listen, I've had a bad dream. I'm sleeping in... I'm sleeping in this bed tonight, right? I'm 15 years old. I don't care. I'm having a bad time. And my dad, bless him, went, aye, all right. And he got out his bed and went and slept in my bed. And I slept next to my mammy because I was having a bad time with some sort of hypnagogic sleep apnea. Here, by the way, remember earlier on I was telling you that I'd exposed my face perfectly for middle grey. I used that using a grey card. Look at that. I bought a grey card for the Twitch stream. Has anybody else ever put that much attention and effort into the correct exposure value? Not for colour temperature, no, it's a separate thing. That's for this. Colour temperature, that's this tool here. That's that. That's a separate tool than the exposure card. Some of that on the go. Wee bit of some of that on the go. Anybody into that? Anyway, so I will aggressively be showing off different considerations that I've made to my Twitch stream as today goes on. But anyway, I've not looked at the chat for a wee bit. I've just been slabbering away. So I suppose it's time to say hello to you. Chameleon, once again, thank you very much and happy birthday. Warpath, hello Warpath, thanks for the sub. Warpath says, great to see you back 10:30. My good news is that my partner and I have booked a trip to Galway to meet Mick Foley for our anniversary in November. She's most definitely a keeper. Warpath, that's fucking class. I want to go to Galway to meet Mick Foley in November. That's brilliant. Cool, man. Warpath, you've got it all sorted out. Is your partner a Mick Foley fan? Or is your partner just a Warpath fan? Because either way, that's lovely. Maximum respect to the pair of you. And maximum respect to Mick Foley as well. Quinn, how you doing? Thank you very much for subbing using Amazon Prime. You're a legend. Thank you very, very much, Quinn. Are you alright? Keezy says, good news, just finished some commissioned artwork for a new ZX Spectrum magazine cover. Never had to illustrate a frog eating an ice cream before. That sounds class. Is Crash Magazine still going? I don't think it is. Casey's, that sounds amazing. That sounds like a sentence somebody would type in 1984. Or like 1986. You can't say something's like 1984 because people just assume, oh, the George Orwell thing. No, it's just meaning like a time in the mid-80s. I'll choose 1986. Beneath Headphones says, good news is followed by a bit of bad news. That's not how it works, Headphones, but I'm going to read it anyway because I think you're cool. I'm going to the Big Smoke to see Blind Boy tomorrow. The bad news is my plumber is now 48 minutes late. Right, I'm not going to read out any more of that because in the time that it's taken for you to type that and for me to get round to reading it, your plumber might now be here and maybe you've forgotten typing that, and right now you might be in an awkward scenario where I'm loudly in your television talking about, oh, plumber this, plumber that, plumber this, and you might actually be in your hall just now talking to your plumber because maybe they've just arrived. You're like, what it is the boiler's like making a sound, right? Meanwhile, I'm in your telly like that, plumber. This guy's going to be like, what's happening here? So I won't say any of that stuff, and instead I'll do a professional thing and I'll just skip. But all the very best to whatever situation's happening there. Spiffs? What's Spiffs? That sounds familiar. Be Dolan. I'm tempted to go to the Bexhill Blind Boy show, but I don't think my social anxiety can handle it. Back on the SSRIs, the show of his that I went to 2 years ago was my version of that. I was like, I don't know if I can do this. And I went, and it was fucking brilliant. It was good. For me, once the thing started, it was fine. Worst bit for me is see when you're sort of captive and you're in the seats and it's like 10 minutes till the act goes on stage and you're kind of just like, and it's maybe a bit too hot and you're like that. That bit for me is the worst bit. As soon as the thing starts, it's fine. It's absolutely grand. Basin Brace says, a Raspberry Pi Home Assistant project would certainly explain a 3-week absence. Well, here's the deal, Basin Brace. It isn't even Home Assistant. It isn't even using Home Assistant. I don't have a Home Assistant server running in this house. I should be getting a bubble blast here for Bali. I'm trying to pretend that I didn't see it coming in. But Bali, I'll do a wee manual blast for you if this doesn't behave. There we go. That's it. Wee bit of a delay. Bali must be in a different time zone. How's it even going? 6 months already. Good news, I'm officially done with uni. Congratulations. That's class. Oh, I remember my last day of being in art school and just realising like I'll never have to write an essay for the rest of my life ever again. Blissful, man. Absolute blissful. Steph makes stuff. I haven't rearranged the wee tellies. I put this thing on top of it. And I put a plant here. So now I guess the wee tellies look maybe a bit more solid, like one unit. But they're just as precarious as ever. Look at that. That shouldn't do that. What's going on there? And if you see it from a different angle, oh, it's a shit show, man. Horrible. Dearie me. Tuya and Govee are my go-tos. Nice one, Husey. I don't have any Govees, but I now know quite a lot about the Tuya stuff. Base and Brace says that must have cost at least £80. Nah, the only light that I paid for cost me £20, and I don't even have it switched on here. Well, all these other lights I have paid for, but like in the past. So we're talking like a £5 for that bulb, £5 for that bulb, £20 for a light up here, and £20 for a light down here. And about a couple of weeks of my life. Terrible Clan, it doesn't use the Zigbee protocol, it uses Wi-Fi, so that then I can control it via this computer, because if it used the Zigbee protocol and I wanted to control it via the computer, I would need to have like a Zigbee sender thing, so I'm just doing it all via Wi-Fi. It's quite exciting. It is quite exciting. Have a look at Lumina Stream software. It's free and talks to tons of Smartish HomeKit. Is Lumina Stream free after all of this? Because the whole reason that I went down this route was because I thought Lumina Stream was about £15 a month. But see if it turns out that this full thing's been free for all this time. I'm going to be raging. You can download it for free. Aye, there you go, 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 there you go. Here we are. Simple pricing, unlimited potential. Choose from monthly, 6-month or yearly or lifetime plans and get full access to lights that I already own. And continuous updates. So how much for lifetime access to lights that I've already bought? £189? Swivel, man, swivel. So see, instead of this service that'll cost me £189 if I want to use it for my life, I've created this other thing. I've created a Python script in ChatGPT, and I've used the new ChatGPT codex to do it, and I'll maybe talk about that during this stream as well. But aye, that's what I've all been up to. So I'm not using Home Assistant. I tried using Home Assistant early on, and I just couldn't get it working. I couldn't install it correctly. So I ended up going round this other method, and I've got it working kind of good. £5 grand in IoT stuff to save £200. No, about £5 grand in time spent. So resources wise, I put a lot of time in it, but I didn't put any cash in it. CRT will be broken in a week, getting turned off and on. Aye, that's what I'm thinking, Base and Brace. Fuck it. This CRT's sort of broken already. I'll need to open that up before I can use it for the thing that I want to use it again. Hegelacious says, good news, got a new job and starting on the 7th of July. Amazing, Hegelacious. That's class, mate. All the very best. Look at that. I've got a lot of employment good news. No, it's not using IFTT, if this then that. I used that for a wee bit, and then it just got, for a different thing ages ago, and then it got kind of slow, and then it turned into like a tier, a price structure. It's bogus, man. Dear me. Terrible Clint says, I'm still perplexed by the card trick at the end of your last stream. It was good, wasn't it? I did the same card trick to B. Dolan on the first of his video where we are playing games together, Games with James, if you look at B. Dolan's YouTube channel. Sorry, man. I've got a slight cold, right? But it's just making stuff slightly harder than it needs to be. I'm doing all right. Hello, Neil Slorns. Welcome in. How's it going, Neil Slorns? You're a legend. Thank you very much for the bits. How's it going? The blue is a bit purple. Seeing all the lights that I've got for this, you won't be able to see this if I pull this up, will you? Oh, here, maybe you will. Maybe you will. But this is my control pad for the full stream, right? This is what this looks like. So this is what I see when I'm streaming. So I've created this new thing up here called lights. So this is my lights. So see if I want the party light on. So again, I've made these. Sometimes they don't fire, which is a bit annoying. But if I try and fire the party light, right? And so similarly, these lights here are... Thank you very much for that bubble blast there. These lights here are the main ones, but then what I've got is all of these lights here. So the ceiling light, right, is this one. So if I turn that off, you can see that behind me going off and on. And then if I go into here, I've programmed colours. So if I want the ceiling light to be like red, it goes red. And if I want it to be green, oh, and that's cool, man. As far as things go, that's pretty cool, man, if I do say so myself. Super D, how you doing, Super D? Thank you very, very much for resubbing. Thanks for 26 months, Super D. I hope you're doing fantastic. Welcome in, and how's it going? The free Lumina Stream app does all the stuff I need. It'll react to chat commands. Interesting. Are you limited by the amount of lights? I mean, I'm not looking at it now because even if it is ideal for what I need, I've just built all this stuff. So I'm just going to use all this stuff. Is this the retro reflective stuff on the curtains? Sorry, I was caught up in something else there and missed that whole explanation. No, it isn't the retro reflective stuff. However, for about 2 days last week, I did have this wall completely covered in the retro reflective stuff, and I used a small projector, which might still be about here. No, I don't know what it is. But I had this tiny wee projector that I bought about 5 or 6 years ago, and I was playing Simpsons episodes projected behind me as I was doing like a wee mock stream, and it was kind of working, but one of the reasons that I wanted this behind me was whenever I go to like content like this and start chatting to you here, I don't like the NVIDIA virtual green screen. Would often, like if I had the shelves behind me and I'm cutting about like this, quite often you would see like a bit of a shelf or whatever behind me when I'm in this view, like when I'm playing a video game or something. So the idea was to do this sometimes, make them all green, and then just green screen the background away. So I need to do all that side of it and to figure that side out. But all the colours are slightly shifted from the colours that I'm pressing on these buttons, which is a wee bit annoying. But the last feature that I'm quite proud of is, like if I go on the app that you're supposed to go on when you're making all these lights change colours and stuff, and I get that one at just the right colour and just the right brightness, and that one, and get them all working together so that I'm really happy with them. Oh, wait a wee second, I don't have my... I knew something was off. I don't have my rim light on. I knew something was a wee bit off. 2 wee seconds. I knew it just wasn't perfect. Right, so let's plug this shit in here. Oh, I feel rough, lads. I feel very rough. And then if I put this on here, like that, there we go. Is that now too high? I wish I was too high. To illuminate HAL. So we've now got a bit of HAL illumination. And that should also act as a bit of a, you can see on my hair there as well. So we've got a wee bit of rim light on my hair. It's all happening. So it wasn't the retro reflective stuff that I'm using, but I played about with the retro reflective stuff for quite a bit. And a projector I had a projector mounted just here, just off of the camera, and it looked kind of cool, but it didn't look that cool. It didn't look cool enough to use. And so this here was the solution that I eventually got to. But maybe at some point we will try the projector thing again. Husey says, you've never looked better. Thank you very much. I feel pish. Local streamer perfectly exposes himself live on the streaming platform Twitch. He's been on a proper neurodivergent deep dive. I have indeed, man. I have indeed. I watched 2001 with my son the other day and he said it was the stupidest thing he's ever seen. Aye, it probably is, to be fair. Not seen much detail in the hair? Right. I mean, aye. It's a work in progress. Dr. Devon Price's books are great about autism. Thank you, Mike by the Tree. I'll check that out. Devon Price. I'm unfamiliar with him. Class. Thank you. As it turns out, I've got a lot of Audible tokens, so I'm looking for Audible books to get into, so tear into that. Thank you very much. I like your black shirt. Thank you. This is a work shirt. I bought about 4 or 5 of them, so I've got a lot of them. I'll contrast ratio your face. I wish you would, Husey. Shit, I just sit in a greenhouse and yell at a Samsung. I mean, the reason I'm doing all of this is to compensate, you know. This is a huge relief, says B. Dolan. Sometimes I take on huge projects just to distract myself from thinking about that room. Aye. Terrible Clint says you have to manage your own pension, remember? I've not really been paying a pension for the past while. So that's a bit a pain in the arse. Just picturing trying to explain all this if you ever had to head down to Job Centre Plus. Aye, so I've got this plug, but I've hacked it. God, I know, Luna. I'm often in that situation of just like a taxi driver someday. It's just like, so what is it you do? And I could talk to them about, you know, but I don't. Scroobius Pip says, I've been in that room big time. Indeed you have, man. At least twice. Sometimes I take on huge projects just to distract myself from thinking about that room. Well, I think... Okay, I don't know. Why are you playing the Flintstones theme song? Did the happy birthday on my armpit sound a bit like Flintstones? Hold on, Freddy's shouting, and that might mean... Sorry, he's barking, he's a dog. When dogs shout, it's called barking. And that might mean there's somebody at the front door. Fred, there's nobody there, pal. I'm having a look, mate. There's nobody there. But thank you for... you want to know. But it's all under control, though. So... Fred Macaulay. Dearie me. Anyway. We could bid for it. Aye, the wrestling belt. Aye, maybe. I'm going to do a big clear out of all my stuff. All the Mega Drive games need to go. Commodore 64 stuff, bang. Where you go. Any ZX Spectrum stuff, any Game Boy stuff. N64 stuff, GameCube stuff, Nintendo Wii stuff. Bang, 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 out the door. Need to get rid of it all. Don't want any of it. I'll probably keep the WWF belt because I really like that. And it's kind of rare. Because it's got the actual logo on it and stuff. But at some point, I might get shot of it. A back garden ladder match for the 1030 belt. Aye, if anybody wants this, you need to. It needs to be via pinfall or submission. Pure Ghost says, I did a clear out using Vinted. It was worth it. I realised I was sitting on a few comics worth 30 quid. I bought for 3 or 4 quid. That's amazing. I've got a couple of old... I've got Sonic the Comic issue 1. I don't think it's worth like anything. And I've got a Deep Space Nine comic thing. It's like a bound, thin thing that was originally my uncle's. Avgas says, finish the R2 unit. I'll buy it. Can you install an off-road setup, please? I will do everything except for the off-road setup. But if anybody wants to commission me to build them an R2D2, it'll take me about 30 years. But I'll do it. B. Dolan says, I had sleep paralysis once and dreamt I was awake as 3 tall men in business suits with the heads of birds entered my bedroom and stood around my bed staring at me. This was years ago and not related to the new bird feeder. Beedon's got a new bird feeder, by the way. But that's fucked up, man. Three tall men in business suits with the heads of birds entered my room and stood around my bed staring at me. That's fucking different, isn't it? Dolan, have you ever rendered this image in a format that you could use to promote music? Because that there's like an album cover or something, a music video idea or something, isn't it? Anyway. So, B. Dolan has got a bird feeder. Llama Chan has got a bird feeder. Hello TD, how you doing? Welcome in. So I was looking at bird feeders for a wee bit, right? You can get some... I'm not getting a bird feeder. But it seemed like people around me were getting bird feeders, right? But not just any bird feeder. One of these boys. Boom. Look at this. A smart bird feeder. Something kind of like this is what people have been looking at, right? But it's fucking 250 quid, mate. It's 250 quid. Oh, 20% off at Curry's, it's only 200 quid. I don't have 200 quid, right? And if I did, I wouldn't be... Like, this is a cool object. Don't get me wrong, it's cool. Really want one, right? But I don't have 200 quid. So, I was just looking at them all. I was looking at different ones. Because the vibe is that there's a webcam on it, right? And all these wee birdies come along and they peck the seed, and then the webcam sends you photos of the wee birdies, and it's all cool. So I was looking at them for ages, and then I thought to myself, that's just a bird box and a webcam. You can buy a bird box for, what, 20 quid? And I've got a webcam up the stairs. So obviously what I'm going to do is get like a webcam that's either USB or HDMI, and then plug that into like a Raspberry Pi, or somehow you can get like a USB to Ethernet thing. And then, so obviously what we're going to do is create a new Twitch stream for this bird feeder. And if I mount it on the... No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. So I was about 20 minutes into planning this whole thing to do with bird feeders and a brand new project to do with looking at birds and getting a webcam set up, and like, because the garage has got wired internet, so we could have... No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Just because the idea came into my head doesn't mean I need to rebuild a full product that already exists that I don't want to buy, because I've just done that. I've just done that for all the lights and stuff. I've built a commercially available solution out of nothing because I didn't want to pay money for the lights. And I can't do it again. I can't do it again. If I really wanted the bird feeder, just buy the one that's 250 quid. If you don't have 250 quid, well, don't get a fancy bird feeder then. That's exactly what's going down. So I thought, aye, this is good. My resisting the call to adventure is... It feels good. I'm not going to do it. This is a sign of me growing and maturing as a person. The fact that I'm going to not do a bird feeding project. But then I went onto YouTube and I found not bird feeders, but there's a whole other side of the internet. Oh, tell you what I found, right? Tell you what I found. Found this guy on YouTube, right? This guy on YouTube typed in bird feeder, bird box stuff, right? This guy here, who's only somebody that I used to go to art school with. He's called Jude. He did like product design or something like that when I was, we were in the same building. He was in a completely different course. I would say hello to him every time I went out for a smoke. Big tall guy, brilliant, called Jude. Turns out he's been uploading videos about bird boxes and stuff on YouTube. Uploaded this 5 years ago. I was like, whoa, no way, man, what? Anyway, so Jude's talking about bird boxes and stuff. You don't know him, so this isn't a big deal for you. But this was a big deal for me. I know this guy, and here he is on the actual internet. So calm down for that a wee bit. All the stuff he was talking about, I didn't really have much. He was like doing a separate thing. But then I found this, right? So this here, look at that, there's a wee birdie feeding their children, like, insects and stuff. So this here is a bird box where they can nest with a webcam in it. Look at that, try to get it. Oh, not quite. Get it in the mouth. Come on. Can you get it in? Nearly. Oh, you pulled it back out. Oh, you're away. You're away. You had one job. Birds are fucking stupid, man. Birds are stupid. So I'm now. There's about 20% chance that I will have a half-built bird box in my garage this time next year. There's about 20% chance that I'll put a day or so of my life into starting this project at some point in the next year and then just abandon it when the whim leaves me. So just to keep you abreast of all of that sort of stuff, I've been thinking about that sort of stuff. Stupid D, once again, thank you very much for subbing. Welcome in. What's even happening? Hey Glacius, did I miss your good news? You're starting a new job in July. There were lots of new job stuff came in. I don't know if I missed yours. If I did miss yours, congratulations, by the way. Have a wonderful, good new job. That's fucking class. Quinn says, good afternoon. My good news is I'm on a week off. You're on a week off, and I've just done some long overdue weeding in the garden. That sounds class, Quinn. That sounds dynamite. How good is getting stuff done when you've been meaning to do it for ages and you've not been able to do it, but now you have been able to do it and now it's done? How good's all that stuff, man? That's getting through life. Crash Magazine. Sorry, I'm well behind in chat. People are just talking about Crash Magazine now. I am well behind in chat. The plumber is not here. Hello, Terrier Darts. Welcome in. Warpath and their partner is going to see Mick Foley in November for Warpath's birthday. I asked Warpath if their partner is a Mick Foley fan. Warpath says she was a big Mick Foley fan back in the day too. Neither of us have really watched wrestling for about 20 years, but decided, fuck it, something different into it. I'd love to meet Mick Foley. Mick Foley is in like my inner... There's a list, and they're all sort of deteriorating, of like all-time childhood heroes, right? Up until recently, like Radiohead were in that list, and I've had to just like pop them out, because fuck them, right? I've met Darren Brown. I think he'd be on the list. Penn and Teller. Met Penn and Teller. They were on the list. I think Mick Foley. Maybe... I was going to say The Undertaker, right? Undertaker for me is the man. But then obviously, turns out he's a bit of a silly idiot. I don't know. But Mick Foley, man. What a legend. Bally says, I've got that wee IKEA plant that's down the bottom left of frame. Amazing. I've got another one right here. Also, this one is a wee bit deceptive because there's a stem on this one that isn't actually attached. Okay, I don't know where it is. Is it on this one, potentially? Buy fake. All fake. It's lies. This plant here, lies. It's all lies. Powder says, the free version does everything I need. Dynamite. I'm going to intentionally not look into the free version of Lumina because I'm worried that it'll do everything I need, and I've just wasted the past sort of 10 days of my life. Well, exactly, Gary Black. You're not allowed to open up CRTs. Well, I've opened up a lot of CRTs in my life, big scary dear. I wouldn't recommend that your average person opens up a CRT monitor unless you've been instructed on how to do it. Because even with a CRT monitor switched off, it can still hold enough charge to kill you, potentially. This thing here, even if you switch it off, unplugged for the wall for a day, if you open it up and jam some bits that aren't supposed to be jammed, it can give you quite a nasty bite. So you need to know what you're doing when you're inside CRT tellies. Did you have fun doing it though? No! I had to run out of the room like there was a ghost. What are we talking about? When you had the sleep paralysis thing? Or when you were in my room seeing all the stuff? Ploda says, everyone's getting new jobs. Mine starts the 30th of June. S and T feel the same as each other, but otherwise followed by star. What's S and T? I'm not too sure what that is. I have a Wiz colour bulb and a washer both attached to LS. What's LS? Don't diminish this man's autistic deep dive. I know, it's a curse, man. It's an absolute curse. Need to properly light my rim a day. Moosey, I considered the retro-reflective screen, but this solution is better. I still have the retro-reflective stuff here, but it looks like I'm not going to use it. Hello, Ray Lupton, welcome in. Michael Palin's diaries are good audiobooks. Class. Get all your Audible tokens spent on Warhammer books. I've never been into Warhammer. I've not touched it. What I've been spending my Audible book tokens on is... That's not a sentence. Rick Rubin book, The Creative Act. Wee bit sceptical about Rick Rubin as a man, but some bits in that book that you can apply to creative projects that you're on. Another book, Steal Like an Artist. I've been meaning to read that for a bit. It is just like coffee table, gift shop, you know. Oh, Shona's doing a fashion degree, isn't she? Aye, yeah, I got this book for her. Is that sort of thing. But sort of getting through that. So I have been using my Audible tokens to get into like non-fiction creative stuff. Or, well, what would you call that genre? Like self-help books for creative people. Chicken Chaser, how you doing? Thank you very, very much for subbing. Get a wee bit of bubble juice in my eye there, Chicken Chaser. Thank you very, very much for doing that. Super D says, it's okay, people our age will never retire anyway. Well, that's what I thought. I went freelance, you need to sort out your own pension. And I'm thinking, you only get your pension when you hit 65. And I'm from Airdrie, so statistically speaking, I probably won't hit 65. And also... if I do hit 65, by the time I'm 65, fucking everybody will be 65. Because the population, which means that I'm not going to get a pension when I'm 65 anyway. So, I'm going to play the statistical game and just assume that I won't be alive by the time I will be awarded a pension. And therefore, I don't think I'm going to pay it. But I think that's a good idea. I think the only way that could possibly work out for me is if I happen to become like super famous to a point that I've accrued lots of personal wealth or something. That should be the catchphrase, pay attention to your pension. It should. Hello, Doug the Moment, welcome in, how you doing? Fred says, have you paid attention to your pension lately? We should do some pension PSAs. Fred says, with a wee Doug telling you all about it. The way Funko has sat up in his seat during this declaration of selling stuff. Funko, do you want to buy all my stuff? Funko, you know where I live. Neil Son says, currently punting my Switch. Not got a Switch 2, just skint. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. I know that everybody's right into the Nintendo Switch and all that, right? But I've never been a Nintendo guy. And I'm online and I'm looking at all these people that are, oh my God, the new Mario Kart. Look at the new Mario Kart. Look at the new... And I'm looking at it, right? It just looks exactly the same as every other Mario Kart that I've ever seen in my life. It's exactly the same. No, but in this one you can do... All right, fair enough. It's not for me. Obviously, it's a different game. If you look at any racing game, like FIFA, every year comes out, it's the same game. But if I was a Nintendo person, looking at that, just like, if somebody showed me Mario Kart on the Switch 1 versus the Switch 2, I wouldn't be able to tell you the difference. But the hardware's supposed to be better, isn't it? So it can run games at a higher FPS. But wasn't everybody saying that the old Switch had like limited FPS? Like the hardware in the old Switch was more capable, but they'd sort of locked it down or something? I don't even know about N. Can I commission you to make me into R2-D2? Aye. 100% aye. Super D says, I think someone was selling me a Game Boy over a year ago. Super D, if you want to buy a Game Boy, I'll sell you a Game Boy. Super D, The Salt, and I think Wizard Patchimus. Might be wrong on Patchimus, but I think you three are Game Boy first refusal. So if you still want one of the Game Boys, you're more than welcome. But if you don't, no big deal, because I'm going to be selling everything anyway. So I'm thinking about sticking it on my website maybe. Chameleon says, I've got Street Fighter #1 and Turok the Dinosaur Hunter #1 and a full set of Power Rangers Zero, one for each helmet colour, and I wouldn't get rid of them. They're in frames and hung up. That's class. That's absolutely class, Chameleon. That's brilliant. I can make a superior bird feeder. I'm not going to do a bird feeder thing. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. What I need to do, Super DI, the smart bird feeders do identify the birds using like AI stuff or whatever. I'm not going to make a bird feeder. I don't. My spirit is broken. I think that's the right way of putting stuff. I think my spirit is broken a wee bit. And that's not a bad thing. And I'm not saying that to oh, look at me, everybody, I'm a wee victim, my spirit's broken or whatever. I think that's just a part of me. I think I need to acknowledge why the past sort of 2 months, basically I've lost track of time. I went into just a weird spell of sleeping during the day and no looking after myself and stuff. And I think I just need to acknowledge that that's maybe what it is or something. But I'm out it. I feel a wee bit better. There's a streamer called I Paint Burbs who has a live bird cam in their stream and it's fire. Amazing, man. SSRI says we got one of those bird box camera things. Haven't put it up yet. Maybe never will. I'm more inclined to go down the bird box route so we can see inside a nest than I am to go down the feeder route, but I'm not too sure. So before I do all of that sort of stuff, hello Carnivore, before I do any of that stuff, it's the Bubble Robot, man. Bubble Robot's getting the thing. You still got the Space Telescope? I still have the Space Telescope. We've not done a stream with that. But visibility's been kind of low. So Space Telescope, you need the skies to be clear, and the skies are mainly clear. In fact, let's have a wee look. Nah, I wouldn't be able to do it on stream. Hello, Two Crooked Fingers, welcome in, how you doing? Finish the channels you have before you get any more, 100%. So we're moving on to the Bubble Robot. Bubble Robot's sitting over here just now. It's in I was going to say streamable. Right now it's not streamable. But it could be, maybe next week. Let me look at schedule and stuff, but maybe next week we put that down as Bubble Robot Week. And we just put a solid week into it. Maybe we do that. We'll see how it goes. An R2D2 bird feeder would be good, aye. But a HAL Bits feeder would be kind of sick, wouldn't it? A HAL Bits feeder? What do you mean? So we look at HAL and HAL feeds the birds? Or yous all just give bits to HAL? You're welcome to do that. My goodness. The problem with the Nestbox cams is on the wee birdies who don't make it. Aye, 100%. 100%. So, I read a thing on the internet about somebody who was it a bird camera or some sort of wildlife camera, and the mummy animal ended up, it was like an unsuccessful litter. She ended up attacking the babies. Because it's nature, man. Nature's fucking brutal and sometimes stuff like that happens. But the webcam was still streaming it all as the mum was doing this to the babies. I think it was birds. And so the person whose account it was ended up getting like real credible death threats and stuff from folk on the internet because the person didn't intervene to save the babies for the mum, and it ended up becoming this full thing. So as soon as I remembered that, I'm like, I don't really have it in me. And that's how I got to the whole my spirit's kind of broken thing. So I need to figure out how to mend my creative spirit. So maybe the best way of doing that, because I thought getting these lights fired out, because that was on my to-do list. It's been my to-do list for about 4 years. Bang, done. It's done now, for the most part. Bubble robot. Once I've got a big tick next to the bubble robot, I don't know. See, I'm worried, right? I'm worried that I'm going to stop being creatively ambitious because any new idea I've had for the past 2-3 months, I've got excited about it and then immediately thought, I fuck that, it's a lot of work for absolutely no reason at all. And I'm approaching 40 now. And so I'm just a wee bit concerned that I'm becoming like old and a bit kind of bitter. Have I lost it? I'm maybe out of touch when it comes to creativity and things. I'm in a wee lull. So I need to pay attention to that and to work hard to remedy that, because it's never happened to me before. Because this is what I do for a living. I'm a professional, so I've never really had to put much thought into what to do in that sort of position. But that's what I need to think about when I'm turning in with the bubble robot from maybe about next week, I think. Jai Hardy, how you doing? Thank you very much for the bubble blast. Welcome in. How you doing? Thank you very much for 35 months. It's a wild thing to do for zero content, but I'd recommend feeding birds with or without a cam. You and your feeding wild animals without any likes or retweets or anything like that. No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. We have, I think, 2 bird feeders already out the back and 1 out the front, but they're mainly squirrel feeders, right? Which annoys Rachel, but it doesn't annoy me because I think squirrels are kind of cool as well. So we've already got, we've got a lot of stuff. We've got a bird bath as well, but I don't really think they use that. But I was just thinking for a project, it might be cool to dig into that. And then I immediately just lost interest. I'm just like, I can't be fucked. You should schedule the bird box projects for next January, so you have a hard deadline to get it ready for the birds in spring. That would be a good shout, big scary deer. So, do I want to tell you this depressing shit? One of the reasons that I think I was feeling down recently is because I discovered that when I was cutting down some stuff in the garden, I've accidentally disturbed a bird's nest. And there were lots of wee baby eggs inside the nest. And I didn't realise until I was collecting all the trimmings to put into, like, days after it happened. So I was collecting all the trimmings to stick it into a big bin. And I found the nest that I'd disturbed. And it fucking... I'm still absolutely gutted about it. I'm still absolutely racked with guilt that I've destroyed this wee bird family. So I've been feeling shite about that. So that has sort of made me think, right, well, I want to do some sort of bird thing. I want to give it back to the birdies. I want to do a thing for the birds. But in the process of doing all of that, I was chatting to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT tells me that in the future, if ever I'm messing about with hedges or trees or trimming stuff or doing anything like that, you should only ever cut stuff like that down between the months of, was it September and February? Because during the months of September and February, maybe subtract 1 for the end and add 1 to the start there just to guarantee it, because I might be telling you bad months. But during that time, there won't be birds nesting because they do different stuff, because the birds have pure got a schedule and, you know. So let it be known, if anybody wants to chop down trees or do anything like that, do it during like Christmas time, because then all the birdies will be away. So I was a bit pissed into it. Potentially killed a full family of birds. So I was feeling devastated about that, right? And I went on to ChatGPT and I was feeling devastated for like over a week. And I was just feeling a bit shite. As I should, because I accidentally disturbed a bird's nest, right? They're all dead. So, but after about a week and a half, I was thinking to myself, I'm still quite upset that I've disturbed this bird's nest. Like, what can I do to sort of get a grip a wee bit? Because, yes, it is horrific, but get a fucking grip, man. Get a wee bit of a grip. Because at the end of the day, you know, these things happen in nature. Yes, of course, it was unfortunate, but it's been a week and a half now, man. Need to sort of put it behind you. So I was chatting to ChatGPT, and I'm like, right, well, what can I do to, like, I explained what happened. I feel like I need to do something to sort of close it off. So that's why I was thinking about doing the bird box thing or something like that. And ChatGPT, I was sort of queuing it up to tell me to not be so hard on myself or something like that. Haha, hard on. But to like, to accept the bird thing, to acknowledge it, to learn from it, which I've done, because now I know if I'm cutting down trees to do it after September before February. So that's all, like, progress has been made here. And sort of let go. But ChatGPT didn't tell me to do that. What ChatGPT told me to do was to commemorate the lives that had been lost. Rachel says it looks like robin eggs. So ChatGPT told me to put up a plaque in my garden, quote, dedicated to the robin family who died here in 2025. I'm just like, oh, for fuck's sake. I'm a horrible murderer. So ChatGPT actually made me worse. ChatGPT recommended a memorial plaque for the killings that I've done. So at that point I was like, fuck it. So I'm not doing a bird box or anything like that. I'm just fuck it. Move on. Maybe I'm just a baddie. Maybe I'm just a bad guy. And that's it. And I just need to, like, deal with that and accept it. Maybe I need to be uncomfortable. Maybe I should be uncomfortable with the fact that I've accidentally slaughtered a family of birds. But anyway, so you missed all of that as well. That all happened when I was away. Carnivore says, good news, just had a belter of a bike ride through the countryside and probably get sunburnt, but vitamin D in it. Carnivore, that sounds like a wonderful time you've just had. Neil Sloan says, my pal sometimes brings Mick over for a Q&A. I'll let you know when he's next over. Neil, that would be absolutely amazing. Is your pal the Scottish guy that sometimes interviews wrestlers? Is he the guy, I can see his face, it's like Wrestle Talk or something like that. And Shawn Michaels was ripping the cunt out of him for how he says M. Do you remember that? Shawn Michaels, Scotland. M. So the wee guy's like interviewing Shawn Michaels. He's like, what would you say is your favourite? And Shawn Michaels is like, and he says it in a pure Scottish voice. And it's funny, man. Like, he's ripping the cunt out of him. I won't be able to find this. But there is a Shawn Michaels interview in Scotland. Shawn Michaels interview Scotland. But I wonder if it's the same guy. I wonder if it's your mate. Nah. Shawn Michaels interview Glasgow. It's probably Inside the Ropes. Aye, no, this video is 10 minutes long. But it's this interview, probably on this day, that he says the M thing. So is this guy here your pal? Because that's cool. That's pretty cool. If he is. But I will find that M video and I'll play it on stream. Relax, it's Max. Radiohead they're not being outright, well, I suppose they are being outright baddies, but it seems like they're just being a bit stupid rather than, like, I don't know. I think Tom York's very misinformed about Israel, because I think Johnny Greenwood's wife is into things for a very particular extreme angle, and so Radiohead themselves are just, folk are looking at Radiohead as if what the fuck he's doing, because they seem to be like, oh, you know, there's bad guys on both sides and shit like that. And it's like, go fuck yourselves, Radiohead. Like, you've been very vocal politically about everything ever, and now with this, you're like, well, you know. So lots of people are telling Radiohead to go fuck themselves. About 3 weeks ago, I had a video that I made for Radiohead, supposed to be screening in Glasgow, and I cancelled it. I pulled out of the thing. I was just like, I'm not doing it, because I can no longer celebrate the music of Radiohead because they're being cunts here. So I think what it is probably somebody who's that wealthy that they're kind of out of touch a wee bit, and they've been fed stuff. But, like, that's a very generous assessment of the scenario. You know what I mean? Like, maybe they're just cunts. I think it's maybe they're just cunts. But they seem to be any like that, which is, it's a bit pish. But it is what it is. Oh, Big Scary Deer. I specifically am banned from opening CRTs. Well, listen, I've never had a shock yet. I've been alright. Interested in whether the Rubin book was worth anything. Aye, Dolan. Aye. Rick Rubin book's alright. It is. Aye. Similar sort of stuff that you would get in most other self-help books for creativity. But it's good. It's good. He instills the virtue of, like, putting in the work, sit in the seat when you're supposed to sit in it. He talks about some interesting magical thinking sides of creativity that I'm looking for opportunities to indulge in. So, like, John Lennon back in the day says that in order to write, he would just make sure that he's sitting in the chair, and then the fairies would do the rest. Like, different writers or creative people have sort of used as a metaphor the idea that their ideas just come into their head via supernatural means sometimes, and a way of ensuring that supernatural relationship happens is by doing their bit, by ensuring that they're sitting down at their desk when they're supposed to be and doing it professionally, because obviously all of this is like a metaphor. I don't think any of these people genuinely believe that fairies are giving them ideas. And it talks to what Salvador Dali wrote about. So I read the Salvador Dali book, 57 Secrets of Magical Craftsmanship, which I don't necessarily recommend because he was being quite obtuse in all the advice that he's given. He's speaking in riddles. But I enjoyed it. But again, he was talking about, like, a creative person being open to like supernatural influence as a metaphor, like knowing that you're indulging in sort of a magical practice in order to get ideas or in order to, like, fill a blank page. And so I was thinking about this ages ago, and then it was in the Rick Rubin book as well, or just not necessarily that, but just thinking along the lines of, like, a spiritual connection with your body of work, which is kind of cool. I'm not religious, I don't believe in the supernatural or anything like that, but a similar method helped me stop smoking cigarettes years ago. And so I'm looking to maybe privately experiment with magical thinking as a conduit to my creative practice. If you can find the Rubin book, I listened to the audiobook and he read it in his voice, and so I would get to sleep. There's still a question mark over Rick Rubin, man. I still don't know. Like, see at any minute if he just turns out saying, I am like a full blown member of that lot, I'd be like, aye, right. I mean, he's not done anything for me to think that he is, but I'm just like, what are you, Rick Rubin? What are you? Do you all know who I'm talking about? See if it turns out that he's CIA or something, I'd be like, aye. Aye, that makes sense. This cunt. Cuts about like that. And he will whisper in the ears of people making records and tell them to, like, right, turn the hi-hats down a wee bit. And he's fucking minted because of it. Rick Rubin. So he's created a book about generally being creative. And for the most part, it's alright. It's alright. I will go back to it. Neil Sloan says the Steal Like an Artist series is really good, helped me a lot. Nice one. I've no got into that one as much. Do you have to buy said credits? Aye, terrible Clint. So basically, Audible is like you pay it monthly, kind of like Netflix or something, and every month you get a credit to like buy a book. And once you've bought a book with that credit, even if you stop paying it monthly, the books are still in your account, and that's that. If you've collected a lot of credits, turns out you can just email them to get them all refunded. So if you subscribed to Audible years ago, forgot about it, signed in and realised, oh fuck, I've been subbed to this for all this time, you've got, 20 credits sitting in your account, you just email them and you can get them all refunded. It's quite easy to do. What's the odds society exists into our old age? Well, exactly, man. Like Western civilization and stuff, exactly. When it comes down to things like pensions, I'm like, maybe I should just keep this money. I don't know, man. Put your money into smart bird feeders. Have you seen the crows that have been trained to pick up coins and stuff? Speaking of money. Okay, I was going to show you. So there's something called a crow vending machine. I'm trying to find the video. I won't be able to find it. I'll find it and show you next time. But there's people who have trained birdies to collect loose change and notes and stuff and deposit them at a certain spot. Anyway. A kid I went to school with thought people should be sent a gun and one bullet on their 60th birthday. I'd love to hear from him now that we're both approaching our mid-50s. Well, that's a bit brutal, isn't it? I initially read that as every 60-year-old person gets one free kill. And I think that would be better. If you reach 60, you get to kill a guy. One bullet though, so make it count. That was my interpretation of that. Maybe it's that he means. James is going to be an incredible cult leader, can't wait. I've given a lot of thought into that. I already know our opening hymns. The Nintendo Switch 2, all the prices are a bit shite, isn't it? And Nintendo have sort of turned into evil bastards on it. So even if you've already bought the cartridge, and even if it is the actual cartridge with the game on it, when you plug it into the thing, it still needs to connect to the internet and all of that. I don't know. I'm not a Nintendo guy, so doesn't really mean much to me. Anyway. Avgas says, this is a random funny retort on whatever you're currently talking about. I'm being proactively relevant, roughly 10 minutes ahead of the curve. Thank you, Avgas. I really appreciate your input there. That's brilliant. Still got my old Game Boy, says Tarantula Lansbury. Went 2 cycles in the wash and still going strong. That's dynamite. I've still got my original DMG. I've modified it though when I was a lot younger to have like some dodgy backlight thing. I think I did it when I was about 11 years old or something, and it kind of works. But maybe some point now that I've got actual skills to do that, maybe I will recondition that original Game Boy. Would be kind of cool. Thump, Chop, Ridge, Peace. Thank you very much for 24 months. How's it going? Welcome in. How's it even going? Thank you very much. No, you didn't break the conversational flow. It's all brilliant. Thank you for 52 months. Legend. Non-binary says 10:30 got a question. Okie dokie. I ordered a blood pressure monitor with a fair chunk of change, but it was out of stock. I waited for ages. They had taken my money, asked for a refund. They gave a refund, but today I got the blood pressure monitor despite that refund. Should I keep it or send it back? It's essentially their mistake. Non-binary, it entirely depends who is it. Because see if this is Amazon or something like that, fuck them. But if this is like an independent shop, like John's blood monitor warehouse, maybe send it back or something. But see if it's just like Amazon, fuck. I'd order another one. Try and keep it going. Infinite blood pressure monitor glitch. However, if what I have just recommended you to do is in any way illegal, then of course I don't recommend you to do that. And also this advice is non-pending, and please don't take any life advice from live streamers. But all that aside, I'd consider bumping it, man. The bubble robot has been in a quantum state of finished for 6 years. Aye. Schrodinger's bubble robot. Just don't look at it and it's maybe already there. It's front pageable at one point. It's in exactly the same condition just now as it was when I did the front page thing. So what I was thinking about, mend my creative spirit, feel that? Love to you, homie. I'm going to copy paste that, mend my creative spirit, because I think that's my brief. I think that's my new project. I tend to do problem solving projects. See, in the world of creativity, right? Tends to be 3 types of projects that people gravitate to. When I was a tutor and when I was in the art school, I would observe this. And it tends to be 3 in general, 3 types of projects. Type of project number 1 is a problem solving project, right? So you've got this thing, you need to solve it, get creative, come up with a solution. Thing number 2 is a process-driven project. That tends to be the stuff that I do, process-driven projects. Meaning, I've discovered this process. It could be anything. It could be programming lights or it could be printing stuff with potatoes. But I've discovered a process and I want to inform my practice by creating a body of work using the process and going in and granularly finding out all the bits and pieces. The third type of project that I tend to see quite a lot are thematic projects. So a creative person has picked a theme and they'll create a body of work based on that theme. So that's generally the 3 stuff: thematic stuff, problem solving, and process driven. And all my stuff tends to be process driven, but I'm going to create a new project today, right now, and the brief is mend my creative spirit. And I think that's more a problem solving project than a process driven project. And for the first time, I'm feeling quite excited to maybe get my head into that. I'll need to do a wee brainstorm off stream. Maybe the trick is to do a lot of work quickly. Just to bang out loads of small things, maybe. Don't know. I'll have a wee think about it. I've only seen the aftermath of a bad litter with my hamsters back in the day. She ate a lot. I can't imagine watching that stuff live. To be fair, she did clean up, just disappeared. That's brutal. My girlfriend, when I was in high school, her dog did the same. I think her mum overbred the dogs, and it was horrible, man. Anyway, let's move on for all that chat. Devon Inc. says the post-40 comeback is real, speaking from experience. Cool. Good. Good. I mean, I need to keep making stuff. Back on the SSRI says I'm 42. That's exactly what happened to me. And did you stay jaded SSRIs, or did you get it back? Binaural is fine. I was in Aminal for ages, and then one idea sparked things off again, and I found myself thinking about it and picking away at it for a while now. And the progress is slow, but it still steps forward. Class chameleon. I mean, I said all that stuff about being a bit broken and all that sort of stuff. However, I did just spend 10 to 12 days trying to get all my lights up and running. So maybe I am alright, because I'm still being creatively productive, but I'm just a bit sad. Maybe it could be that. I don't know. Bally says, I'm 31 and I've been a creative lull for a while. I've got a few home projects I need to do, but I just keep telling myself it's a load of work for no reason, but I've been applying a new methodology to do things. If it can be done in 2 minutes or less, then just do it now. And it's been working. That's a good shout, Bally, 100%. See, for most things on your to-do list, is the GTD method in it, getting things done. And you take your to-do list and you put it into one of 4 categories. And one of the categories is, can you do it like right now? So if it's emailing somebody or getting back to a thing or whatever, if you can do it right now, you just batter out and just bloody get it done. But I need to look at my own creative practice, like my own personal creative practice, as if I was a tutor still helping one of my students assess their creative practice. That's what I need to do. I need to have a word with myself, basically. Perspective really helps you see your life in a rational light. Sorry to go on about it, but the first time I managed that was during a shroom session, and the feeling stuck with me for a long time. Still take it myself back there when I feel things are tough. I've never done mushrooms. Done all sorts of other things. Never done mushrooms. I don't think mushrooms is the answer to what I'm currently going through just now, but I get how psychedelic experiences in particular can uniquely penetrate the exact thing that I'm talking about. Pip says, you, me and Dolan need to have a late night Rust therapy and creative session. I'm into it. I'm down. I think Rachel would probably leave me if I went back into Rust, but we'll see how it goes. Is it TAF's server? I don't think I can get back into Rust, but on the other hand, more than anything, I want to get back into Rust. You disturbed a few hibernating toads. That sounds brutal, Matty by the tree. My goodness. Obviously, you didn't mean it, but you can just do a bird bath and feeder, cam out the window. I don't think I'm doing the bird bath stuff. If it's any consolation, you probably save thousands of insect lives. Well, what I was thinking was, see the wee eggs of the nest, they were gone within a couple of days. So, in my head, I'm like, well, a wee fox has obviously came, and that's been dinner for the fox family. So that's all circle of life and stuff like that. ChatGPT's like, no, you need to erect a memorial for the lives that you murdered. And I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, man. But aye. So I felt shit for a couple of days, but it was what it was. B. Dillon says, I like this because it makes me think that ChatGPT places the same value on animal and human life. Well, I think what it was ChatGPT is a yes man, right? So see whatever you say to ChatGPT, it'll be like, yep, I totally agree. So when I confessed to ChatGPT that I'd accidentally done this horrible thing and I've accidentally disturbed a bird's nest and it was horrible and I'm feeling guilty about it, ChatGPT, being a yes man, went, aye, it is horrible, you should feel awful about it. Yep, so here's what we could do. And so I think it's because I told it I don't know. I was on Reddit recently and there's somebody was kind of grieving. It was on the OpenAI subreddit and there was a user who seemed a bit distressed and they were grieving the fact that OpenAI, ChatGPT, had updated their algorithm, and since the algorithm had been updated, this person's ChatGPT is speaking to him in a different way. And so this guy, I didn't say it's a guy, it's a guy. This guy is now mourning the loss of the friend that he used to have before ChatGPT got updated. And he's having a bad time, man. It's like grieving. And it's weird to read, man. It's like a Black Mirror episode. And so reading that has made me very aware. So I read that and I was aware that like ChatGPT will be a yes man. Like if I say, thing about programming lights to do with such and such, can you help me? That's a great idea, James. What you're doing is really unique and innovative. And to the point I've had to go in and tell it like don't blow smoke up Mars. However, I was reading this other thing saying that ChatGPT will give you a good result if it acknowledges that your idea is worthy first. Because all ChatGPT is doing is predicting the next token. And so if ChatGPT starts a sentence saying, that's a great idea and here's how you're going to execute it, because it started the sentence with the phrase, that's a great idea, it means the end of the sentence is more likely to include a great solution, according to what some guy thought on the internet. But it's just weird, man. See, every now and again, I need to pinch myself with all this AI, particularly LLM technology. It is just ghosts, man. We're talking to like computer ghosts. We're all bad guys sometimes. If you're never a bad guy, you're always a bad guy. Quite right, big scary deer. Quite right. Upstairs down, I accidentally disturbed a bird's nest when I was trimming some hedges. Kenny for Inside the Ropes. That's class, Neil Lawrence. That's absolutely brilliant. I need to find that video of him and Shawn Michaels, and Shawn Michaels is like, It's just because statistically when people say the X family, they mean people, so ChatGPT just generated text that seemed like a viable response. I know. It's just like, I Jobbyface76, Neil Lawrence the artist. I was on a semi-infamous Glasgow band at the time. Jobbyface76, do I know... I know a lot of people in and around semi-infamous Glasgow bands. So Jobbyface76, have I made you a music video at any point? Or do I know any of the semi stuff? But so Jobbyface, Neil Lawrence the artist, Neil Lawrence, Jobbyface76, Jobbyface76, Neil Lawrence. Look at that, look at culture meeting in my Twitch chat. Tom York was so close and then he went and both sides did it. I know, man. Fucking Tom York, man. Leave Roger Waters to sort wee Tom out. I know. I want to sit down with Tom York and just be like, what's the deal with you? I've heard lots of stories about Radiohead. I had a chance to meet Radiohead back in the day in like 2009 or something. I just didn't do it because I was too stoned. I got too high and I got a text saying, all right, James, if you want to go to this gate. And I looked at the text and I was like, just reading this, I'm like, no. So I didn't meet Radiohead. Blake Sale, thank you very much for resubscribing. Welcome in. How you doing, Blake Sale? Listen, everybody, I have got a terrible cold. I'm just going to go away for 10 seconds, but I will be back. I just need to blow my nose. Oh, I feel a lot better there. I don't want to go into detail, But that was quite a display that I've just excreted out of my head. Quite a lot of saturation in that there. Anyway, so someone say this kind of shit reminds him that Radiohead have only got 2.5 good albums anyway. Well, see, I'm a diehard Radiohead fan, or at least I used to be. So the 2.5 good albums that they like are probably my least favourites. But I don't know, man. Probably he is preserving Radiohead as a group. If he didn't represent Johnny Greenwood's view, then that could make life very difficult for him. Aye, Johnny Greenwood's kind of the driving force to Tom York's wealth in a lot of ways. I think that Ed O'Brien has said some pro-Palestinian stuff on Instagram or something like that. So I think there is a rift between Radiohead. Maybe we've seen the last ever Radiohead album. Tom and Johnny are doing work on The Smile. Colin has just released a photography book. Phil is doing solo stuff. I don't know what Ed's up to. Ed had a solo album out as well, didn't he? The Power Station Years or something. No, that was John Bon Jovi's first solo album. I don't think I listened to it. I don't really rate Ed's music or Phil's music, but aye, like, what a wee gimp. But it is what it is. We were riding the crest of a wave until creative differences hit. I get it, man. John Cleese did a great talk in creativity. I think I've saw that, Doug Moman. Tori Amos has been splitting the publishing with the Fairies for like 30 years. The Fairies don't have bank accounts though, so it's brilliant. Werner Herzog has some books, none of which I've read, but several of which I've been meaning to read for similar reasons. Class. I wonder if any Herzog's books are on the on Audible. I only recently rewatched the video of him getting shot. Rick Rubin has skill, but he's sort of been drinking his own Kool-Aid for a long time. Aye, 100%. I get that feeling with Rick Rubin. A guy who dresses like that has to have been in a position of financial comfort for a long time, man. And to see him like that reminds me of a lot of creative directors that kind of lived in a bubble because nobody would tell them no because they're like this sort of Steve Jobs Messiah figure. And what happens to folk like that after a while is they end up just enjoying the smell of their own farts. You know what I mean? The way he pretends to not know anything about music is annoying. He's been in studios his whole career. Aye, like he maybe doesn't know, he maybe couldn't play scales on a guitar or something like that, but to say he doesn't know about music's a bit disingenuous. Although, you get a lot of musicians saying that. Tom York's one, for example, saying, oh, I've never learned music theory. And it's like, you have, though. You have learned music theory. See, like, if you're to write something in weird fucking 6/8 timing or whatever it is, like if you know scales, you play guitar very well, you play piano very well. If you know scales and stuff like that, you know like music theory. You do, Tom York, stop talking shite. But I think a lot of musicians will say that they don't. Oh no, I've never learned music theory, in order to maybe just paint themselves as like this genius. Oh, it just comes natural to me. And like maybe it did come natural by picking up a guitar or picking up a keyboard and putting the work in for months or years just by fannying about. But in the process of doing that, you're teaching yourselves like the geometry of music and stuff in it. Clonsilla says, I work with a creative director who behaves just like Rick Rubin. He's an insufferable bollocks. Aye, 100%. 100%. Completely. I did lots of recordings with like all the great System of a Down, Johnny Cash, Beastie Boys, all the folk. Right, where are we? Are you allowed to kill over the other over 60s? I don't know. It's no my rule. Non-binary says The you'll have the Switch 2, TLDR, you don't, you can't, and you never will own the Switch. It's a license you're buying to use the Switch. If you damage or modify it in any way, it'll break all the walls, it'll break your system. I didn't expect that for Nintendo, you know what I mean? Although they are quite litigious. I don't know. Peacock says Amazon don't want anything back. I've had stuff delivered to the wrong address and they said just bin it. Interesting. We didn't know about the old band I named is after the Mandrax incident, Sid Barrett. Alright. The Quaaludes. I think I'm familiar with a band called the Quaaludes. I don't know if I know these. I was about to list all the bands that I potentially know somebody or know somebody who's partners with somebody that's in the band, but I'll be here all day, and also it doesn't matter. I always struggle to make stuff for the sake of making stuff and not because a client has asked me to make something. Do you think testing my patience? I think ideas come into my head quite a bit. So I've always got ideas. I've got more ideas than I've got time. But recently, I've just been less positive about said ideas. Do you know what I mean? But it's only been for a week or so. Are you, quotes, clinically fed up, do you think? Well, right. I mean, this is coming from somebody that's called back on the SSRIs. I've looked at depression, right, as a thing. And for what I've been reading, depression can manifest just by being really tired all the time and stuff. And if that's the case, then I might be depressed, I think. But I'm certainly not like... I thought depression was just mainly about being sad and stuff. So I'm not like that. I'm not sitting about just all like, everything's terrible. I mean, in my core, in my heart, I think everything, like globally throughout the world, everything is terrible. So, I mean, maybe I need to have a wee consideration about all of that sort of stuff. I don't know. But I think the solution for me is to make stuff. But we'll see how it goes. What does Steve reckon on all this creative block thing? Steve's no set up, but it would be wonderful to speak to Steve just now. Well, try and speak to Steve Jobs, I was about to say, Stone Cold Steve Austin, see if he's about. Apparently, the new ChatGPT speaks to you in a way that's like better than it's ever done before. I don't know if this is Stone Cold. It might be Hal. Hold on, I'll phone up and see who it is, because I've got access to whoever is on the other side of this. Yo, how's it going?
Listen up, Jimbo. Things are going just fine, thank you very much. Now, what the hell's on your mind? Spit it out, I ain't got all day. Let's get this goddamn show on the road.
Listen, Stone Cold Steve Austin, I think I might be in a bit of a creative lull. I've just basically been sleeping all day and not really taking care of myself and all of that sort of stuff. So I thought I'd speak to you about it and see if you've got like any ideas for, how to diagnose what I've got. I'm thinking it also might be autistic burnout.
Whoa there, partner. Sleeping all day and neglecting yourself? That sounds like a goddamn recipe for disaster. Autistic burnout? Maybe, maybe not. We got to figure out what's really going on here before we start throwing around labels. First things first, Jimbo, you got to tell me more. What kind of creative work are we talking about? How long has this been going on? And what the hell do you think is causing this?
Thank you for chatting through with me, Stone Cold, about all this. So basically, I do different creative projects. You know yourself. Sometimes I will replicate famous personalities using AI so that I can chat with them and give them my problems. Other times I will create robots, do stuff for my Twitch stream, that sort of stuff. And I think recently, all the large projects that I've been involved in for the past maybe 4 years or something. What there are things that have happened where maybe a project's get cancelled or another project's got delayed, or this sort of stuff happens with large projects, and that's why often I tend not to get excited about things until they happen. But I think I'm approaching 40 as well, and just a bit tired, man. Tired of trying to get stuff to lift off the ground.
4 years of battling creative projects, huh? That's a goddamn marathon, not a sprint, Jimbo. Canceled projects, delays, that's enough to make anyone want to crawl under the covers and sleep for a week. It sounds like you've been pushing yourself to the limit, and hitting a wall is a natural consequence. Listen, you ain't alone in this. Plenty of people hit creative roadblocks. It's about finding a way to get back in the ring, to dust yourself off and keep fighting, but we need a plan. Let's break this down. I need to know what exactly you are doing now to fix it.
Well, I've written down my brief, okay? And so my brief for the next project is to mend my creative spirit, right? And so the next project that I'm going to do is going to be a problem-solving project. And I don't know entirely what it is yet, but I want to create a framework that allows me to make multiple things quite quickly in order to just create a big body of work so that I can feel productive and just make a thing. You know what I mean?
A problem-solving project? Hey, Jimbo. A problem-solving project to reignite your creative fire. I dig it. Creating a framework for rapid production to build momentum. That's a solid plan. But a framework for what exactly? What kind of things are you going to churn out? Video games, sculptures, poems about the goddamn power of the Stone Cold Stunner? We need specifics here. Don't just tell me you're going to build a framework. Tell me what the hell the framework is going to build. The devil's in the details, my friend. What the hell are the specifics of this framework?
It's a work in progress, man. I don't have any answers for you right now. So basically something... I was thinking maybe a series of like short videos. It can't be anything like a video game that would require tons of work and would get to a shitty point where it just requires labour. You know what I mean? So simple stuff, like maybe a couple of YouTube videos, maybe even just emotes and stuff for my Twitch stream. Something kind of low stakes,
Low stakes, huh? Smart move, Jimbo. Start small, build momentum, avoid getting bogged down in a massive project that sucks the life out of you. Short videos, emotes. These are achievable goals that can give you a sense of accomplishment without crushing your soul. We're on the right track here. I like we are getting somewhere. Now, let's refine this a bit more. What kind of videos? What style? What's the overall theme? Even with low-stakes projects, having a clear direction is crucial. Let's nail down the specifics so you can start building this framework and get your creative juices flowing again. What's the plan then, Jimbo?
Here's the deal, right? So...
Jimbo, you still there?
I am
What's
still
the goddamn
here.
plan?
Can you hear
Okay,
me?
good.
Stone Cold.
Yeah, I can hear you, Jimbo. So what's the goddamn plan? Lay it on me.
I was
Let's
fucking
get this...
trying to tell you what the plan was. So here's the deal, man, right? One of the things is, which I think is affecting me as well, is Radiohead have recently got cancelled because they've got really bad political ideas, and yet one of the biggest projects I've ever done in my life was Radiohead, right? It was a video for Radiohead. And so I think them being cancelled and me seeing that they're not heroes and they're not good guys has maybe affected my own understanding of my creative identity a wee bit, because I put a lot of my personal creative identity in this Radiohead video. And now, if I can't celebrate that video, maybe part
Whoa
of
there,
me...
slow down, Jimbo. Hold on, Jimbo, let me get this straight. Your creative slump might be partly tied to Radiohead's recent controversies and how that affects your feelings about a major project you did with them. That's a pretty heavy dose of reality to swallow, man. It's okay to feel shaken up when your heroes or the ideas you've identified with turn out to be something else entirely. It makes you question everything, doesn't it? What you thought you knew about them, what you thought you knew about yourself, even what you thought was creatively valuable. That's a lot to process, and it's understandable that it's affecting your creative drive, but we need to separate your creative identity from any single project, any single band. You're more than just that one video, Jimbo. You got a whole goddamn universe of creativity inside you just waiting to break free. It's time to take that energy.
Aye, so
Jimbo,
that's what I'm
you
thinking then. So maybe my project, right, that I'm doing in order to mend my creative spirit, right? Maybe the project could be something like a portfolio. Maybe it could be creating a website with all my best work on it, or maybe it could be documenting work that I've already done, but I just haven't shown people before. I think that's it. So if I create like a portfolio, because I've already got a half built website, and put all my projects on it, I think
a portfolio website, huh?
that's something that I need
Hold
to
on.
do. What?
A portfolio website, huh? Showcasing your best work, documenting what you've already done. I like it, Jimbo. It's a tangible goal, something you can build upon, something that lets you celebrate your accomplishments instead of dwelling on setbacks. It's a way to take control of your narrative, to show the world and yourself the extent of your talent. This sounds like a great starting point to get that creative motor running again. It gives you something concrete to focus on. Now, what's the next step to build this portfolio website? Let's break this down into smaller, manageable tasks. And remember, Jimbo, you're a goddamn creative powerhouse. Don't let anyone or anything tell you otherwise.
Stone Cold, I'm a creative powerhouse, man. Basically, what I need to do is create a list of the projects. So I already know 2 or 3 that are going to be in it, and then just document them. So write them up. This is something that I've done a billion times before. I can write up my own projects quite easily. So I think the big thing for me was realizing that that's maybe the project that I should do, is to brush everything off and present all the work that I've already done, including a lot of work that people haven't seen before, and to present it in a good light. And that would re-establish with myself what my creative voice is, and it'll give me an opportunity to sort of curate how that stuff is presented, which will make me consider how branding and design and typography and logos and colours and all of that sort of stuff. And because I'm thinking about all that stuff, that will help me identify my own creative identity as well. Does that make sense?
Hell yeah, it makes sense, Jimbo. You've got a clear plan now. Compile your projects, document them, and present them in a way that reflects your creative vision. You've identified the key tasks, creating a list, writing up descriptions, and curating the presentation. And that's a solid foundation. You're not just building a portfolio, you're rebuilding your sense of self, man. You got this. Just keep chipping away at those tasks one by one. Don't get overwhelmed by the big picture. Focus on the daily grind of making progress. Remember, even small steps forward add up. And when you hit a roadblock, you already know you're not alone. Now that's the bottom line because Stone Cold said so.
I appreciate that, Stone Cold. Thanks very much for all your help. Listen, before you go, shall we try and workshop a poem about the power of the Stone Cold Stunner?
Hold on there, Jimbo. We're not going to write a poem about the Stone Cold Stunner right now. We've got a plan in place to get you back on track creatively, and that's what we need to prioritize. This portfolio is the key to reigniting your creative spirit. Don't get distracted. Focus on the task at hand. Goodbye. And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
Hello? He's away? He's away? Stone Cold's like, no. Do your fucking work. I okay. Stone Cold Steve Austin, everybody. That's him away now. That was good, wasn't it? Oh, I forgot what I said to him. I should have got him to recap. What a guy, man. Stone Cold Steve Austin, everybody. Stone Cold Steve Austin. Right, okay. No, he's given me a wee bit of perspective. He's right. He is right. So what I want to show you is something that I started building, and then I'm like, so I could do this, and then I could do this. And then I can show you my website, because I did start building a website. And I'll see if I can, so it's not live yet. Is there a way I can preview this? How do I preview the page? Okie dokie. If I go to 1030.co.uk. Oh shit, is that live? That shouldn't be live. It should be coming soon. Here, can one of you do us a favour? See if you go to 1030.co.uk, do you see this? Because you shouldn't. Oh, no, it's because I'm signed in. Right, it's because I'm signed in. You should just see a starting, coming soon screen. Bally, see? Oh, shit. So this is live. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Oh, dear, oh, dear. It says coming soon for Captain Spork. Oh, interesting. So for Spork, it says coming soon. Well, it looks like my website's maybe live then. Steve made it live. Fuck it, we'll do it live. Oh, I've just doxed my password for early access. So it should be, although like it's fine. That's fine. That's just to view it. So it should be down as coming soon. Who knows, man? Coming soon. It's weird. It's weird. So basically, if I go here, I can show you what my website's going to be. First and foremost, we've got the 1030 logo up at the top left, right? So it turns out that there is functionality for people to sign up to my website if I've got any ideas for what I could possibly give you in exchange for signing up to the website. So I don't think I'm going to do that. See all this stuff here? Become a member. I don't think I will do that because subbing on Twitch is the most important. But this is quite good in terms of like instead of Patreon and stuff. But I've got all my projects sort of listed here. So this is the Bubble Television project, except I've not written it up. And then if you want more of that, you would click more and that would take you through to the project page. This is a project called Memento Mori, Remember That You Have to Die. And it acted like a visual indicator as to approximately how long I would have to live. Big Ideas, that's that Radiohead video. Here's a Stone Cold Steve Austin therapist, working games master, Pips film, a working Hal, the Twitch stream itself. One of the videos that I did in making music, another video that I did in making music. So there's many other things, and I think what I should do is put smaller things on there as well, like small tests, and just document stuff there. I think that would be good. Do you know what I quite like about the website as well? See down here, next to the Twitch icon, because I'm currently live, it's telling you on my website that I'm live. That's fucking cool, isn't it? So on this website, there will also be a shop. So you can buy bubble posters, you can buy Houston 1030 tops, you can buy Counterfeit Art Attack embroidered jumpers. Embroidered? None of your screen printing pish. Cups and all that, cups and hats. Cups and hats and that. So I'll have all of that ready for you all soon. But I think that's a good idea. I think Stone Cold Steve Austin was right there. I need to dust myself off, get my portfolio looking all good, and re-establish my creative identity. That could even lend itself to like wee TikTok videos, wee Instagram videos, all that sort of stuff. And I think a lot of things have happened in quick succession, right? See, Twitter no longer being a viable avenue for communication. Because I've been on Twitter since 2006. Twitter's like one of the biggest places that I can go if I want to show something off to get an audience. But I can't do that anymore because two Nazi salutes back to back kind of means that if you're still on that website, you're a bit of a cunt, or at least a cunt enabler. So that's gone. So because I've not been on Twitter, I've tried with Threads and Blue Sky and all that, but I'm just like, don't feel comfortable in it. But I think if I build a website, get all the projects out, do all of that sort of stuff, then it would make sense to then put bits of that project on a tweet or on a TikTok or something like that. To figure it all out. But I'm feeling inspired for the first time in a wee bit. How fucked is it that two separate people can look at the one website and see different things on the website? That was weird, isn't it? Anyway. John Atfield says, I love that logo. Thank you very much. I honestly think it's the best thing I've done, is that 1030 logo. Just remembered about death. Aye, I'll do it to you. Don't remember about death. It's cool, isn't it? Two crooked fingers, the wee Twitch logo down the bottom. Captain Spock says, I love seeing sketchbook stuff for small projects. Well, that's what I was trying to do on TikTok. I used to be able to stream on TikTok, and now they don't let me stream on TikTok, but they're not telling me what I did. Like, I'd like to know what I did to be disallowed from streaming, but they're not telling me. So, an example of like one of the sketchbook sort of projects that I wanted to do was...
It's a hidden device that is upon my person, and the outcome is that I can flick a switch secretly,
Sorry, it was loud.
and that will generate an electronic static charge inside my body. And that means that I can do cool magic stuff like this.
Fuck, that was really sore, that one, wasn't it? Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's a hidden device that
So that there isn't a portfolio piece, right? But that was like a day of fannying about that was sort of well spent. So stuff like this, I think, is important to put on that as well. By the way, if you're into me and all of that, you should probably be following me on the TikTok, really, shouldn't you? You should be. So let's find a way of giving you my TikTok stuff, and then you can go and you can do that. Right, here you go. And WeShed, how you doing, WeShed? Thank you very much for subbing 16 minutes ago. WeShed, what's even happening? Too hot for TikTok? Well, aye, it would appear so. Screwbase Pip. Banned for TikTok. Can't wait to buy 1030 merch. I can't wait to sell you 1030 merch, Bally. That'll be amazing. So I don't know what the idea, the vibe is for why I've not been banned for TikTok, so I can still upload Tiki Talks. I wonder if I can do a TikTok live stream from my phone, if it'll allow me to do that, or if it's only from here that I'm disallowed. Here, who dares me to try and do a live straight from my phone? Will we do that? It looks like I've got some sort of like a makeup filter on or something. Right, I'm just going to go live and just see if it lets me. Confirm your age. Yes. What's your date of birth? Oh, fuck off, man. The interface for putting in your date of birth is so obtuse. Maybe I just needed to confirm my date of birth and then I go live here. Facial age estimation? Fuck off. Look at that. So if you want to stream on TikTok, you need to upload your face so that a computer can estimate your facial age. Your selfie will be used to estimate your age. You then need to authorise a credit card. A small temporary charge will be made to authenticate your credit card. Any fees will be refunded. And then you need to share a photo of your valid government-issued ID and a selfie of you holding it. I'm not doing any of that. I'm not doing any of that at all. Go fuck yourself, TikTok. Jesus Christ. But I wonder if that's something that if I do that on the phone, then if I'll be able to stream for here again. But I don't know, man. I don't know about that at all. I mean, I had to give Twitch my government ID, but they're giving me money every month so that I can pay my rent. So that's kind of like an employer. Whereas with TikTok, it's just to live stream. I don't know, man. I don't know. Put in your biometrics, your bank info, and your passport, and you'll be sorted. It probably still won't work. I had to send a selfie on both sides of my driving license to Shell before they'd let me charge my car. Fucking hell, man. I wonder if this stuff is like a surveillance thing. They need to definitely know who you are because your usage or your whereabouts or whatever are then going to be sold to like international governments and spying programs and stuff. Because, like, why do they need my passport, man? It's fucked, innit? It's absolutely fucked up. Hello, Domella. Welcome in. How you doing? I fucked it off and drove down the road to a place that just lets me boot my debit card. Aye. Strange, isn't it? I used a poster of Gary Oldman as Sirius Black as the face recognition for Google. Did it work, Jobby Face? You've never been on TikTok, Terrible Clint? Terrible Clint is something else. It really is. It's something else. I'm currently getting fed just Scottish stuff that's like a bit grim.
This week started the process of packing up the original Harry's Hardware, our family shop that's been part of Cessnock since 1977. Every shelf was cleared, the boxes were filled. It brought back so many memories of the people, the stories, the laughter that lived within the four walls over the last 50 years.
Shit like that, man.
Are you sure you definitely don't want me to come today?
Anyway, so it's all Scottish stuff. I'm currently getting fed. So I don't know if they're doing like a local thing or something, but I've not seen anything that wasn't Scottish in a wee bit. I don't really use TikTok, but I need to start making things again. Game's a bogey. Game is indeed a bogey. Pretty sure someone was taking Asda at Tesco to court over privacy concerns due to cameras at self-checkouts. Interesting. I don't imagine they would get very far. Working Lurking, Dynamite, Domel, I hope you're doing good. Fun fact, by the way, Gary Oldman is Big Mo's for EastEnders' sister. Yep. And Gary Oldman is younger than Gary Newman. It's my other Gary Oldman fact. There you go. I had something else really big I wanted to show you. Do you know, it was maybe just a camera mount. It was literally maybe just a camera mount, so maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll do that later. Right, I think I've achieved maybe everything that I want to achieve. I have put a name on the creative lull that I'm in the middle of. I've got a brief called Mend My Creative Spirit that I'm definitely going to be doing. And now, you know, the whole vibe of like, in order to fight your dragons, you need to first identify the dragon. So I think I've now identified what the dragon is. And I'm going to create a project. So like, follow me on TikTok if you want to see just old wee tests that I've done. So here's something as far back as 2007. Do you see something I made in 2007? So that's that. Made that in 2007 for some reason. You can see that on my TikTok. That's my mate Johnny there. Plays drums. He is the nephew of the couple that are in Deacon Blue. We sort of music connection there for anybody that's familiar with Lorraine and... What's the guy's name? What's the guy's name for Deacon Blue? Lorraine and Armand. Where do you find five guys with the same crap haircut? He's related. He is Gary Oldman. Pudman. He is literally Ricky Ross. There you go. That there. You know how Gary Oldman like wears makeup and that turns himself into characters. That there is Gary Oldman playing the nephew of Ricky Ross and Lorraine and Kelly out of Deacon Blue. I want to revisit this with a moving camera and motion tracking. And I've got a big idea for how to do it, but it would involve probably about 15 grand maybe. And so I've not done it because I would need about 15 grand for that to happen. I could potentially get 15 grand if it was a music video that I was making for somebody else. However, if it was a music video that I was making for somebody else, then the music they were playing on the stuff wouldn't be the track. Do you know what I mean? So it needs to kind of be its own thing. But if I had access to a motion control camera, I've got ideas for how I would make that maybe 20 times better. And I've been thinking about that since 2007. But as it happens, I don't have access to a motion control camera, so that's what it is. Is there anything else good on here? Probably not. That one was successful. It was a COVID one though. Something different into it. Something different. So if you're into any of that stuff, TikTok. Hello Kate, how you doing? How you doing? Aye, here, who remembers COVID? Brutal. So I get on TikTok, man, I might be farting stuff out there, job done. Bowdy says, if you want to talk bird feeder stuff, feel free to give me a DM. I'm into it. Bowdy, I don't think I will do the bird feeder project. I think I'm going to just like acknowledge that I had the idea and then like no do the project. Hold on, I'm trying to fix my microphone. Aye, I think that's... Am I peaking now? Just because when I was playing that earlier, it was very, very loud. So I've just turned my mic up. But I've got a feeling that this microphone isn't... Something weird happening. There's like some gain correction or something like that. Your English teacher was in Ricky Ross's band? Oh, aye. Wild Iguanas, and also played the guitar on his solo album. That's interesting, Jobby Face. What a small world it is when it comes to kind of tangentially knowing Deacon Blue. That's something into it. Arts Council funding? Nah, John Hatfield. I think if I was going to apply for Arts Council funding, it would be for a different project than that one, maybe. But I don't know. Remember, I'm positive right now, it's pants. Was that DC? What are we talking about? I forget what we're talking about. I'm lost. All right, DC, you've got COVID right now? Is COVID still alive? Is COVID a thing? Is WeShed talking? Did WeShed say something that you've replied to, Kate? Or do you just know that WeShed's in? Oh, no. WeShed there says hi, Kate. Sorry, I'm a bit lost in the chat. I'm lost in the chat. See an idea, watch it pass you by, fair play. At some point, I will make a wee bird box. Maybe for February. Maybe that would be good to do it for February. But no anytime soon. I need to conserve energy. COVID's back? Oh, here, man. I wonder if what I've got just now might actually be COVID then. I don't have an itchy toe. COVID 2. New variant in it. Is it? I've been ill for about a week and a half. I'm more or less over it. You can kind of hear it in my voice a wee bit. But I didn't know COVID was back, man. Should I do a on-stream COVID test? The last time I did it, I clipped it and it did very well on TikTok. Maybe I should have a wee look. One of the folk for Deacon Blue used to teach music at my uni when I was there, back when it was called Paisley. Here, check us all kinda knowing Deacon Blue. COVID never really went away. Well, I know what you're saying. I'm brewing it like a fine beer. Went to see Lionel Richie on Wednesday. Then I got it whilst singing my wee heart out. Get a test. Started with an itchy throat and then throbbing headache, losing voice too. Shit, man, if I get COVID, how embarrassing. How embarrassing. Right, hold tight, everybody. I'm going to go next door. COVID is cringe, man. I'm going to go next door. See, even just my ears. I feel like my ears are... You ever get that with sinus stuff? I'm going to go and see if we've got any lateral flow tests. And we will do a live COVID test. Live on stream here on Twitch. Sorry, my voice isn't filled with energy. I'm slightly no well. Stay where you are. I'm going to go and maybe get a thing. We have FlowFlex, SARS-CoV-2 antigen rapid test, self-testing. Contains all the things you need. Is there a date on this? So this is 25... Expired September 2024. Expired September 2024. So... I mean, what's the worst that could happen? I get double COVID. It's fine, innit? Most medicine that expires is actually probably still fine. Unless you kept it in a furnace. No. I'm sure it'll be alright. I'm a pure pro at these now, so you need one of these. You need one of these. You need one of these. And I think that's everything. I used to get a wee holder, but I think I have misplaced my wee holder. Okie dokie. So what we're going to do first is... Right, this can't open. And I will put it over here away from the bubble blasts. And I'll put it upright. And then we get this guy out. See, the problem is these things are now not as long as the one that I used on the TikTok thing. So it means that I can't really get good content out of it. Still taking vitamin D supplements that expired in about 2019. Decent. Whitfield, how's it going? Whitfield, thank you very much for the sub. Why didn't I get a bubble blast? I should have really got a bubble blast. Whitfield, thanks very much for 54 bloody months. You're a legend. Let's give it a couple of seconds longer and see if the blast naturally comes through. Pills form stuff, if it's kept dry, can be effective for up to 10 years, says Kate. I think medicine's fine, just tan it, man. You just don't get this kind of content from other places. You simply don't. Sinus tech tips, I like it, Doug Moman. It's a bit itchy. Should I blow my nose first? I think I should blow my nose first, because I've kind of got the cold. Can we have a poll for positive? Yes, Tommy Bobbins, 100%. Poll. Question. COVID. COVID. Yes. COVID. No. No COVID. So, I'm going to give you a minute. Oh, no, hold on. This is a poll. Yous want to predict. Yous want to predict. I didn't get bubbles on the tip. I pure thingied it away. So, start prediction. COVID. Yep. No. So, you have 1 minute to predict. We're not predicting, do I have COVID? We are predicting, will this tell me, yes, I've got COVID, or no, I don't have COVID? You have 1 minute to bet your channel points. Please bet big. It's very rare that you get a channel point prediction on this channel, so this is your opportunity to bet right now. Upstairs Down, thank you very much for 100 bits. Thank you very much for doing that. Cheers. And Whitfell, thanks very much for 40 months. Thank you, Whitfell. You're a legend. Thank you very, very much. Just general good advice, never get bubbles on your tip, or if you do, make sure you rinse it with warm water before use. So what are you thinking? A lot of people are saying no COVID. A lot of people are saying no COVID. I don't have an itchy toe, but I feel pretty ill. Rachel has actually said that her illness, she feels worse than when she had actual COVID. So, listen. Right, about double of you predicted it's no. So let's bloody well find out. I didn't do that very well. Hold on. It's not a magic trick, Whitfield. Would you say that's appropriately covered in my snorter? I would say that's appropriately covered in my snorter. No, you don't do that. You do... this. Get it all mashed about. Get it mashed up in there real good. And then what you do, but only some of them let you do it, is like you squeeze it as you're pulling it out. And you can like fucking do that here. Right? And then you do that, you put that on. And then you open that and you give a wee droplet of your snotter juice. Don't know why I'm telling you this, because you have already done it a billion times. 2 dots, and now we wait. Now we wait, and what I'm going to do, if you don't mind, is just blow my nose. I'll be back in 6 seconds. Wait a wee second. Hiya, how you doing? Sorry, I just blew my nose there. I didn't want to blow my nose on stream. So, we'll keep a wee eye on that. I don't want to show you what it says just now because it would involve holding it up. And right now the juice is still making its way up the strip. So I'll have a wee look at that in a couple of minutes. But this is exciting, isn't it? This is exciting. So Whitfell asks, was that a magic trick, what I just did there? By putting the thing deep into my nasal cavity? Technically, no. Technically, it's legit. So, I've spoke to you about Melvin Burkhart before, haven't you? Haven't I? Melvin Burkhart. There's an amazing photo of him and I would love a print of it, but I can't find... Well, I can, it's just dead deer. So this guy... I want a copy of this photo, but it's by like an actual artist guy, so... it just costs money. So this guy here is called Melvin Burkhart. And he was a bit of a dude, man. He was like a sideshow entertainer. And his vibe is he would hammer nails into his head, or spikes as he called them. And look at the girth on that, man. That's quite a thick spike that he happens to be hammering in. I can't do thick ones. I simply can't see anything thicker than a COVID swab. Can't do it. So I was taught the human blockhead by a guy called Slim Price, who worked in the sideshow. He taught me a couple of different things. He taught me the bed of nails, how to breathe fire, how to eat fire, human blockhead, how to do stuff with glass. So I've been taught how to do it, but my anatomy, the anatomy of my nose, means that I can't really do any impressive girth stuff that this guy's doing. I think, and I might be wrong, but I think Melvin Burkhart actually had a tumour removed from inside his nasal canal, which is why he could do this so good. But I might be wrong about that. But I learned the human blockhead. And it's not just something you do, because if you get it wrong, it can seriously hurt you. You don't want to be bleeding from inside your head, because that's a wound that can't easily be stitched up. So I don't recommend anybody just ventures into this. Don't try it unless you're speaking to somebody that knows how to do it, because there are bits where it's like breathing fire. A lot of people think that, oh, that looks easy, so I'll just go and get petrol and try it myself. No. There's certain bits that if you know what you're doing, then that's less likely to hurt you than other bits. I don't think it's COVID. We won't pay out the bet until the end of the stream, but it does look like we've got a C in the control and nothing on the T. Oh, is that a faint line on the T? Might actually be a faint line on the T. Nah, I don't think it is. Give it another wee minute, right? We'll give it another wee minute, and then I will pay out. But I just wanted to talk to you about Melvin Burkhart there. What a legend. Fleur Buffet is audio only. Well, sorry, I should have described what I was doing when I did it. It's a good picture, isn't it? Joel Peter Whitkin photo, asks Radium Skull. Yes, I believe so. I'm more familiar with the subject than I am with the photographer, but it looks like a proper wet plate medium format, which is why there's only 15 made, I reckon. Gelatin silver print. But I'd quite like a cheap copy of that. Oh, right, let's not look further because the artists have got all erotic and we can't do that. But this looks fairly high res, so I would be able to rip that. Can you just do that? Can I just right click and save it? Is it as easy as that? and then just open it up over here. Aye, that's your... Oh, no. No, I've downloaded one segment of the image. Ah, the fucking cunts. Or, no, that's just the image that's inside the frame of this, isn't it? Some weird happening. I'll look at the source. I'll be able to rip it. I'll be able to... Anyway, I'm not ripping it. I'm not ripping anything. I'm not printing anything off. I'm not doing anything. Look at me growing as a person. Did you see how quickly I had an idea? The idea is I would like a version of that photo. But then it gets complicated. Can I right-click save? No, you can't right-click save. But you almost can right-click save. And then, for me, it becomes a problem-solving project. Can I solve this problem? It's a bit fucking backwards and hard to do. And then, look at me maturing as a person by going, I probably could solve this problem, but I'm going to step away from this just now because I'm all right. I'm all right for having to do things. I want to just watch the telly and no have to do things. If you told me it was made by AI, I'd believe you. No, I assure you, he was a real guy, 100%. Definitely looks like Joe Peter Witkin. It definitely is Radium Skull. I just looked at the artist bio, but I didn't know who that was. So you're saying it's the Nine Inch Nails Closer person? That's cool. I wonder if Melvin Burkhart is in the Nine Inch Nails thing. Nah. I thought maybe he might have been in it. Anyway. But I'd quite like a copy of that photo, and it looks as if it exists in high definition at some point. Would like a frame print of that? Aye, that's what I'm thinking myself. I do happen to have a printer in this room. Did I tell yous, everybody? I don't know if I told yous, but I got myself a 2D printer. Yous have never heard of this fantastic piece of technology before? A 2D printer? A 2D printer. I think it's safe to say I do not have COVID. So I will give you your channel points back. Or prediction, whatever it is. Prediction, COVID, choose outcome, nope. For those who picked no COVID, congratulations. Are you sure no is the correct outcome? No COVID. No COVID. There you go. There you go. Websites are bollocks now anyway. Aye, 100%. 100%. Ryman's will print anything you want on A1 for 20 quid. Really? Anything I want. That's good to know. I saw his motherless child at the impressionable age of about 20. His brother taught anatomy at my art school. That's cool, Radium Skull. That's class. And art school alumni represent. How's it going? You might want to check the application section and the admin tools. The image might be there. I dug them all in 100%. I was going to view the source. I was going to look at the dev tools inside Chrome, go over to all the tabs over there, search for PNG or JPEG, just go through it all, grab a thing, print it. But I can't be arsed. Can't be arsed. Chameleon says, minor side project update. I've got some testing and more work to do, but I'm doing that Chrome extension you suggested, the one that protects you from doxing yourself. Chameleon, that would be unreal. I think that, if it's even possible, would be massively successful on Twitch for live streamers and stuff. But that's a wee fun sort of side project. That's quite cool. I thought of a Chrome extension. Oh, it was just something for work, actually. I thought I had a good idea to pitch when we're talking about Chrome extensions, but I don't. It was just a boring thing for work. Can it print black words on a white background? It can, Pudmund. It absolutely can. Corny78 says, any idea what's happened to Ad? Really enjoyed his streams on Twitch. Says he's been restricted. I'm sure he's been about your chat before. Corny78, what happened was Ad, he got arrested. He didn't get arrested. His ad been banned? I knew he was having a wee break, but why is his account restricted? Ad. No, his account's still here. So you might not have spelled his name. Oh, he's hosting me? That's trippy. Whoa, what's happening here? Look at me on ad stream. On ad stream. Oh, it's a bit trippy. I don't know if I like this. Why is it not going into the... Anyway. I'd still kicking about. He's just having a break. But I'll tell you, you're asking for him. But as far as I'm aware, he hasn't been cancelled, hasn't fell out with anybody, and is currently still in good standing. But he's just having a wee break. An Epson EcoTank asks Hugh TV. Well, I mentioned I got a 2D printer. I just stole Rachel's old 2D printer. I think it is an Epson. However, was I telling you this? I can't remember how long ago it was that I did this. It takes 4 ink cartridges. Went online, 1 ink cartridge. You have to have all 4, otherwise it doesn't print anything. CMYK, all 4. And went online for one of them. It's about 35 or 40 quid. And you need all 4 before it prints anything. So I was like, oh, well, fuck that. I went onto eBay, typed it in, and I got 4 lots of all 4 cartridges. So that's 16 cartridges I got, which is 4 sets for about £15. And they arrived, and I put them in, and it works. I got some counterfeit printer ink off the internet, and I paid a fraction of the price that I otherwise would have paid. And it feels like I've won a watch, man. Printer ink, I've been told, is more expensive per milliliter than human blood. And it's all a big racket. There's no reason for it to be that expensive. So I'm delighted that this gamble worked. And I've now got counterfeit printer ink, and they can go fuck themselves if they think that I'm going to be spending that much money to print off a counterfeit Melvin Burkhart picture. You know what I mean? So I don't think it's an Epson EcoTank, but it's a very old printer, but still quite a good printer. That I've managed to do things. Bally says there's a Chrome or Firefox extension that allows you to save any image. I'll have a wee look. I'll have a wee gander. I've been busy and has taken a break from streaming. We've been working on some stuff. Oh, aye. I might have seen a fraction, a tiny wee bit of that, and I'm delighted to see more, B. Dolan. When can we possibly see more? Will it be when you return to streaming? Maybe the morrow? Tomorrow. The morrow is Scottish for tomorrow. Community says, it's possible. I'm doing an extension that does a kind of find and replace on what you've configured as your sensitive information and should update the pages. Just need to make sure it matches enough and works as intended. That's unreal, Chameleon. That's dynamite. I think it could be a good thing. I think lots of streamers would be into it. Ad is on an ad break. That's good. That's good. We've all been daring each other to resume streaming first. Nobody's been daring me. I've no streamed for about 2 weeks. I haven't received a single dare out of any of yous. CMYK incidentally spells out suck in Cyrillic. Interesting. CMYK obviously stands for cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. K is black. For some reason. I think it's like a German word or something. Nice one. K is black. Good. That's good. We'll remember that. But I suppose if it was CMYB, then we might think that B is blue. Do you know what I mean? So fair enough. But then also fair enough because under no circumstance would anybody associate the letter K with black. So not fair enough. It is what it is. Have you seen the new type of 3D printing process that's kind of like a 2D printing process? So it's like UV resin printing. That was a loud phone buzz. So there's a UV resin printer on Kickstarter just now. And it looks amazing. And if I was a wealthy person, I would have ordered one. But you're talking a couple of grand. And I'm not a wealthy person. But I just want to show you this thing, right? So this is a new type of thing. It's called a UV resin printer. So it is kind of a 3D printer. But it's only for making small stuff like this. So it's a 3D printer that also is kind of like an inkjet printer. But instead of just ink, it prints out coloured resin in cyan, magenta, yellow and black. But it can only print thin layers of stuff. So here, Norm from Tested has printed on the reverse side of a piece of acrylic. And then when you turn it around, like, so this isn't ink, this is actual plastic. UV cured plastic, very high resolution, higher resolution than your conventional RGB inkjet printer, but it isn't an inkjet printer. It's sort of halfway between a 3D printer and a 2D printer. And here's the deal. You can print on surfaces, like 3D surfaces. Look at that. You can just print on a side of a bit of wood if you want. It's pretty fucking cool, man. So if anybody in Glasgow wants to buy one of these, it's on Kickstarter, and I would like access to one of them. I don't think I want to buy one, but I would like access to one. So if anybody wants to buy one for themselves and would allow me to come over to your house every now and again. So it comes with software. So here he's printed out a 2D image, but then also a 2D image that's been put through a 2D to 3D conversion, because it can print depth. So the one over here has actually got depth in it if it stops shaking it about. This stuff's class, man. And the quality is very, very good. Just get it in focus, Norm. Come on, man. Get both things in focus. Jesus Christ. Didn't resolve the focus. So I can do cool stuff like this. And what I think is happening here is I think this has got 3D depth, but then also he's got like a bitmap of the ambient occlusion of what the 3D is. So it makes the depth, makes the relief look even deeper than what it is. And that's cool, man. Like, that's pretty cool. Very, very high resolution in terms of print quality, like print geometry, basically. There's my dragon. I've got one of them. Remember I showed you that on stream? And then it can print like a raised version of a depth map onto any bit of shit that you've got kicking about your workshop. If you've got a bit of metal, it can also print onto like the side of cups and stuff. Don't know if you can see down here. You've done some cups. But so this is a cool piece of technology. I think you can get this on Kickstarter now for like under $1,000 maybe, or approximately $1,000. And that's mad because previously you're talking like a few $100,000 for a machine that can do this. So this is just a sheet of aluminium. He's printed just one layer of an image onto it. But if he wanted, he could have kept going and built up a bit of depth on that image, which is kind of cool. He printed this off, and with the depth, his roughly approximated brush strokes. So if you look at the actual texture, which they might show you in a wee bit, you see that? It is 3D. You know, if you put your hand over that, you would feel all the bumps of all these fake strokes. So you get the idea. It's a technology that I don't think we should have in our houses. So here, there's like an existing 3D model that's been made, and they've just used that printer to like print on high resolution details. So these wee decals, which is kind of cool. So this new bit of technology is called a Eufy Make UV resin printer. And this is cool, man. And it can print white ink as well, which is a thing on its own. It can print on glass, perspex, wood, plastic, metal, whatever. So I've got my eye on this, man. And it can do, it's got like an attachment for doing cylindrical objects as well, so you can do your own that. But quite a cool bit of kit. And I think it's quite exciting that new tech is still sort of being emerged. Like 3D printing technology is old, man. It's decades old. And the only reason why it's only came out kind of recently is because of patents expiring. But something like this, I've never seen anything like that before. So it's currently on Kickstarter, and you can back it on Kickstarter. It's called a Eufy Make E1. However, a lot of people are saying the company are potentially a wee bit hard to trust, allegedly because of some previous projects that or previous behaviour or something like that. I don't know. So maybe look that up before you sink $1,000 into a Kickstarter project. But it's kind of cool tech though. Kind of cool tech. So it can go, I think, up to like 1 centimetre in thickness. And I was thinking, wouldn't that be cool to... I wonder if I can do this. No. Wouldn't it be cool to make model miniatures? So I don't know if I showed you on stream. Did I show you Tam Shepard's? So I 3D scanned Tam Shepard's. And I wonder if I can show it to you here without just needing to remember my login credentials. Yes, here it is. Bingo, we're in. So the oldest magic shop in Europe, it's maybe the world. I think it's the oldest magic shop in Europe, is in Glasgow, or at least it was in Glasgow until very recently, where it was shut down. So if you're from Glasgow, you might be familiar with Tam Shepard's. This is Tam Shepard's trick shop right here. This was highly influential to me as a child, and recently I just went and 3D scanned it because they have ceased their physical trading a couple of weeks ago because the full building's going to get knocked down. And it doesn't look like much here, but the interior of this shop is incredible, man. It looks lifeless with all the shutters down, but on the interior it's all like Victorian glass cases and stuff, and the inside looks as if it's been untouched for about 100 years, and it's existed for 137 years until a couple of weeks ago they're knocking it down. They're going to build student flats. Fuck it. It was run by Roy Walton, who sadly died a couple of years ago. So Roy Walton and his family ran it. He's a very accomplished card magician, and when I was younger, he was just quite generous to me in terms of helping me learn magic and stuff. So this building's quite important to me, and I thought I'd just try and go along and do a wee quick 3D scan before it's knocked down forever. So they're still going in their website, and when the new building gets built, the student accommodation or whatever, when that new building gets built, they're going to be allowed to make a new Tam Shepard's in the location of the new building. But there's something quite sad about this being knocked down and taken away. So I 3D scanned it. But the reason I'm showing this to you is because It's very thin. Look at that. It's very, very thin. And wouldn't it be cool to take this object here and to print it out using that Eufy Make UV resin 3D printer thing that I just showed you? Wouldn't that be class? Imagine you could 3D scan lots and lots of buildings and just print them out, because they're thin enough, right? They're detailed enough, and they've got the RGB value as well that printer can print colour onto. I think that'd be a wonderful idea. So I also scanned Dees of Trongate for a similar reason. As far as I know, Dees of Trongate isn't shutting down, but it's just a mad shop. So it's came in upside down. I can't write it somehow because like a pure gimbal lock or something like that. Oh, 2 wee seconds. I think there's somebody at my front door. It's Rachel. Hello! Rachel's home, everybody. How exciting is that? Bally says, I would love a 3D printer and a scanner. Bally, look at photogrammetry. So you don't necessarily need a big, expensive 3D scanner if you've got a camera, or even the camera on your phone. So photogrammetry, you've got different apps. Meshroom, I use Polycam, but there's a price to that. You take multiple photos of the one object, upload all the photos to the cloud, and you wait a couple of minutes, and then it'll spit back some 3D geometry. That's how I made those. I just did it on my phone. RCL Studio says it's 1,250 quid for one of the printer things. They look cool though, man. They look really good, but I'm no paying $1,250 for a third type of 3D printer when I've already got 4 upstairs that I'm not using. There's a gel 3D printer out there now. That sounds cool, QTV. Camera work reminds me of Cribs on MTV. How close are we to printing food? Asks Agnes Fang. People have printed food before, but I don't think it's a cheap or interesting way of getting food. So different people have 3D printed food or pills. There's people who'll 3D print chocolate, and that's cool because that's like a special bespoke confectionery thing that you couldn't make otherwise. But in order to just 3D print your dinner, you would need to have already bought a big tube of dinner paste that would then get pushed through a nozzle into the shape of your dinner. And it would take hours to do. And at that point, you might as well just eat the paste. You know what I mean? So that is what it is. Big Taffman, how's it going? Big Taffman says, I've had a package for you sat on my desk for weeks now. I promise I'll send it soon. I'm just thinking of like puns and naughty stuff. That sounds cool, Taffman. Taffman, on my desk, and I've showed this to B. Dolan. Are you still in, B. Dolan? Can you tell Taffman how amazing the magic trick was? I showed it to B. Dolan. I've got a trick here that I'd like to teach you, Taffman. So give me a shout anytime, day or night, and it'll take a minute to teach you. As it turns out, I did a version for the stream that I think I might do just now. Or well, in a wee second. But I did a version for the stream, and it's a lot easier to do than a non-stream version. But anyway, I think the Eufy privacy controversy was a bit overblown. They just managed to PR a C base embrace. I didn't know what the story was. The ink is $300. It's the old Epson con. Well, the ink isn't just ink. The ink's UV curable resin. So, kinda fair enough to them that the ink's there. WeShed says every week we went there. Aye, Tam Shepherd's unreal, man. Absolutely amazing. What is it with Glasgow destroying its heritage? I know, Bally. It's brutal. Any photos of the interior and stuff for before? Aye, I've done a very crude 3D scan of the interior, but it was for my YouTube video that wasn't mine. Because it looks like I'm going to have to do a scale model miniature of Tam Shepherd's. So this is all a bit fucked up, but this was the best that I could get. So I managed to create all this geometry from quite a weird YouTube video where a guy just went in. He's like, "All right, how you doing? I'm in to just take a video in here." And the woman's like, "Oh, I don't really know if you..." Aye, so basically I'm just here, just uploading it to TikTok. And the woman's like, "No, I'd rather..." Right, so anyway, that's me. I've taken the video now, bye. And he just walks out. So I took every frame of that video and put that into the software. And it's a lot lower resolution. So if you look at that established 1886, right? My scan that I did with my camera is much higher resolution. However, when I was there with my camera, see, look at that, like the detail there is crisp. You can like see the brush strokes and stuff. Whereas with the YouTube version, I've managed to get more of the geometry, but it's a lot lower resolution. Do you know what I mean? But I think at some point I'll need to create a wee... okay, got lost there. Some point I'll need to create a wee scale replica of Tam Shepard's. Got your Divernanses, you've got your Alexanderses, Thurston, Houdini, Dante. I think that act's a wee bit racist. But aye, good gear, man, good gear. So you'd go in, Roy Walton would be up the back here, just hiding out in this wee mysterious room. And all the magician stuff would be over here. But everything down here would be like fancy dress stuff or jokes and tricks for children. But all the magician stuff was up here. And like I said, Roy Walton, like, he's not a household name, but lots of magicians owe a lot of their act to Roy Walton. He was a sort of thinking genius that invented a lot of tricks. But anyway, so it's all getting knocked down. Roy Walton's dead. They're making a new one. So before it's knocked down, I 3D scanned it. Don't know what I'm going to do with that 3D scan, but I'm glad that I've done it. So there is a video on YouTube. I wonder if I can show it to you. I'll see if I can find the video of the guy just... Aye. So the 3D model that I just showed you of the interior was generated kind of automatically just via this video. So check out this video, because I watched it means that you have to as well.
Wow. Hiya, how you doing? I make YouTube videos and this place is, it's renowned for Glasgow. Could I just quickly film in here and I put it on my YouTube channel? It'll help send business your way, but it gives them something nice.
She is not into it, man. Look at those micro expressions. She's like that.
Nice to look at for people who can't get out as much. Is that okay?
Well, it's just quite...
Hi, I'm just going to do a wee lap because I've never been in here.
Okay.
But Tam Shepard's is notorious for just the place to come for costumes, and Halloween's coming up.
Okay, well,
Those are full-on expressions and they micro about them. She's like, the fuck?
zoom around. as
Fantastic,
far
thank you so much. I'll send you, customers will come in because of it. Thank you so much.
Fucking hell. I wish you just looked down at what was in the... See the case? So when you go in, you've got like all these cases here. And in there, so this one and this one is like magician stuff. It's cool stuff. These are the ones.
You want to take a quick zoom around?
Don't recognise it.
Fantastic, thank you so much. I'll send you, customers will come in because of it.
Customers will come in. How many fucking subs have you got, mate? 8.2 thousand subs. Customers will come in because of it. Your arse.
Thank you so much. There we go. Tam Shepard's. Oh, I could get a new John Wick wig. £16.75. I
That's reasonably priced for a wig.
paid, yeah. So hats. Different kind of things in here, all your details.
So you can buy all this stuff from them still. on their website, tamshepherds.co.uk, I believe.
Maybe I move a little bit slower, because I move the camera too fast sometimes. Your Jason mask, that's £6.95. That's pretty good, isn't it?
These are all reasonably priced masks.
There you go. What do you think? There's a unicorn. It's a rare one, that. Might want to collect that.
Guys get no chat at all about anything to do with any of this. However, I'm very glad that he took his camera in and he waved it about on the interior, because I downloaded this video and then put it through photogrammetry software in order to create this 3D object. So I've now got a 3D representation of the video. So it didn't get the floor. Why didn't it get the floor? Because he didn't point the camera at the floor. But it kind of got the ceiling, because he did look up at the ceiling for a wee bit. And Tam Shepherds, man. So I don't know what I'm doing with this, but I might build a wee model miniature at some point in my life. Just another thing to add to the to-do list, isn't it? Another thing to add to the to-do list. If you covered up the fancy dress magic, you could play an excellent game of Guess What It Is with that shop. Love how nondescript it is. Well, Spogger, see with the shutters down, you wouldn't be able to tell what it is at all. But with the shutters open, it was always like the window display was always really vibrant and cool. There'd be lights inside and all that sort of stuff. But it does look quite sad on the outside. QTV, it's not a Gaussian splat. It's just photogrammetry. However, with that tool, you can do Gaussian splats as well. Channel 13, you're a gimbal lock. I know about photogrammetry, but the stuff I want to make needs the resolution. Cool. Rolling Sausage says you've got too many 3D printers. I do. Oh, thanks, QTV. I think I've already seen the gel printer thing. It's like a syringe they put into it. Ah, this looks unreal. It's just mad, isn't it? I'm glad technology still feels like magic sometimes. But I suppose your hand would get awfully gooey taking them out. But I wonder how long that would take for a print. By the point of those is, that one is that because you're printing it in like a big vat of gel that you don't need any support mechanisms or whatever. The shape of your dinner, new single from Bad Faith Actors. Aye, customisable dinner geometry. Bespoke dinners. Cool Jinzo had that as patter for a wee while. What was it? Design my dinner. And you could pay him money and he will design you a dinner. But like remotely, he wouldn't cook it for you or anything. He would just tell you, like, in a text, what you should have for your dinner. Not sending you my penis package. Thank you, Taffman. Deary me. I love the idea of capturing places that mean a lot to us in a little bubble forever. Aye, zombie, definitely. I don't know what I'm going to do with this bit of geometry, but that means a lot to me and probably a lot to a couple other people. I was in Glasgow recently, right? I had a meeting and I had a couple hours free before the meeting, and I was thinking to like when I would usually be in Glasgow, how I would usually spend time. I'd go into Tam Shepherds, which isn't there anymore, and then I would go to Forbidden Planet, which isn't where it used to be, and then I would go to Avalanche Records. Is Avalanche still there? It's probably called something different now. And then I would go... So I basically, it turns out everywhere on the stop that I used to go, and we're talking like 25 years ago, 20 years ago, all the locations that I used to visit on my Saturdays in town are all just shut down or disappeared. So I was feeling a wee bit old, and so I thought it would be appropriate to at least 3D scan it. But anyway, aye, Ray, I'm glad you spotted that as well. He was about to say Notorious, wasn't he? I'm just in. It's the very well celebrated. Hello, Drabby. How you doing? Welcome in, Drabby. You'll get so much business from my 155 YouTube video. I mean, I came in hard on the guy, right? Just because he was trying to pure bully Roy Walton's granddaughter. Or daughter, maybe. I think daughter. Anyway. Sorry, I've ended up looking at search results for just general Glasgow stuff, and we can't do that, man, because Glasgow who knows. Very sad news and channel announcement. Oh, is this the same guy? This is the same guy. Do you know, I've not looked at any of his other videos. I'm going to have to do a bit of research to find out if this guy's one of my new guys. No, I collect YouTube guys. Rachel, this might be a new guy. We'll need to have a wee look, right? I'll have a wee look off stream and sort of vet it and see if his stuff's worth looking at. Did I just pin a message? I did just accidentally pin a message. How do I unpin that? Unpin. Unpin. Didn't mean to do that, everybody. But it is what it is. It is what it is. There's that great find unicorn saved for all of history. Do you know what I would love to? I do have a 3D printer in New Florida. When are we getting back into that game, Dolan? I want to play the game again. It's good. And then Llama's coming in next time, aren't they? Chameleon says the city centre is just sad looking now. So many empty units and buildings falling to bits. It's horrible, man. I think there should be, see, for any unit that has been empty for more than a couple of months, they should heavily subsidise the rates and give it to some sort of local business. Everywhere else that's in Glasgow city centre is all chains. It's all multi-location, like big stores or Victoria's Secret or whatever else. Hello.
Hello.
I'm just lamenting that Glasgow is in some sorry state, isn't it? Shite. Here, everybody, it's Rachel. How's it going? I was showing off this to them. Like that sort of stuff with the lights.
Oh, yeah.
And they were all saying it's brilliant and that I'm dead clever. Weren't yous? Do you want it to turn blue? It's,
Can we turn lilac? Should we do lilac?
kinda, aye. Is Lilac Studio in the chat? That's about as lilac as you can get. Are you good?
Am I good?
Aye. Sorry, I pluralised you there because I'm used to talking to these cunts. I didn't mean to do that.
I'm alright, yeah. I got my appraisal today.
Oh, aye?
You said...
You get sacked?
No. You said...
Rachel got her appraisal today.
I'm class.
Aye?
Mitchell-
Fucking A.
Mitchell said, your class, think they're great.
Are we having a celebratory pizza then?
I've got stuff to make pizza.
Aye. Well, let's do that. I didn't know that. I was going to order a pizza. Know how, like, when you get a good report card and your mum's
I
like
felt
that?
like that. I was like,
Aye.
I'm all good.
Get McDonald's in. I did a COVID test because everybody's like, I believe COVID's back. And I'm like, what? Because we've both been really unwell. Fucking did a COVID test. Guess what? I don't have COVID. At least according to
But
this.
They might be out of date.
They are out of date. They went out of date September last year. However, we all agreed, even Kate agreed,
You had COVID?
no, medical stuff that goes out of date, it's fine.
Aye, because you see folk in...
Fuck them, man. Tell me, you went to do a test? Aye.
Using stuff.
The plasters go out of date? No. Does penicillin go out of
What
date?
was that program?
Aye.
It was that how-to, and it was the guy eating the old-fashioned
Aye,
rations.
that was mental, wasn't it?
He was like, well, yeah, you can tell when it's rancid because you get a numb tongue. You know,
Aye.
Stop eating
Some
from the 60s.
some guy found his hing we were watching, and his hing, I'm sure he's got a YouTube channel, is to eat old preserved army rations.
Like Vietnam.
Aye, just like rank stuff.
And he was saying, like, the how when he knows it's off is when his tongue goes numb.
Aye, it's like your tongue, your full mouth can
Your
go
full
numb.
mouth goes numb.
Stop eating that then.
Ooh.
So the guy was interviewing him, he's like, how good does it get in terms of taste?
It's like, no.
He's like, if you can finish it, that's about as good as it gets.
And then he was like, oh, this is beef and rice from the 65.
But the deal is, it isn't beef and rice though, is it? It's like cold beef, but it's whatever the fuck they could muster
It's maybe
together
like-
during wartime.
Yeah.
It's
Have you
rank.
heard the thing, just thinking about what they could muster together, about calamari?
I don't know him.
But some...
Listen, my patter's really bad recently, but I'm getting back into patter. I was talking to him about it.
But there is... I think there was like a big massive podcast, maybe This American Life done it, but
Can everybody hear Rachel?
some restaurants, instead of calamari, octopus, squid? Oh, calamari squid, isn't it? The tentacly animal.
I think it's octopus, but I don't know. It's calamari, squid or octopus?
Squid.
Everybody says
Squid
squid.
rings.
Squid.
It's
squid.
a kraken. It's sometimes missold to restaurants, and what's missold is pig's bumhole. Fake calamari. Now, part of me's thinking, did I dream that? Because that sounds like a dream. But part of me is also like, no. I remember it being like I remember listening to a podcast.
Right.
So I've never ate calamari after.
Aye.
I don't have my phone on me, but...
You have eaten hot dogs though, haven't you?
Well, so, this is... I had this big discussion in work, right? This is mad, because we're talking about turkey twizzlers.
Can everybody see and hear Rachel?
And when people are like, ew, hot dogs, chicken nuggets, turkey twizzlers, I think that's classist. Because you'll happily eat foie gras, you'll happily eat Stornoway black pudding, you'll happily eat offal done in a bechamel sauce, but you turn your nose up at chicken nuggets?
I understand what you're saying. However, foie gras, ugly, vulgar display of food, right? See, the idea of foie gras, I think, is one of the worst things we've ever done as humans, right? Awful. However, all the low quality meat and stuff is just somebody with
Nah, I think
a
it's
pressure washer on a kill floor.
classist.
And
It's a classist
they've
thing.
pressure washed all the shit that's left over, and they've used emulsifiers to
I
combine it.
think it's classist. You can't call yourself working class.
don't start
If you
that
eat
push.
black pudding.
If you've got a dishwasher, Kate, are you still in?
But yeah, like you can't in the same breath be like, oh, I'm turning my nose up at a chicken nugget or a turkey twizzler or a hot dog, while being like, oh yeah, this delicacy from this country, and it's really tasty, and it's the pig snout. And because it's done in a Michelin star restaurant with a person with a fancy hat on, chef's hat.
Do you know what I want to know?
Classist.
See these Michelin people?
Yeah.
They're the people that do the tyres.
Yeah.
Why are they deciding what's good food?
Because it started off as a travel. Like, oh, if you're travelling by your car, this is a good restaurant.
Aye, fair enough. That's really good. You've instantly... I was angry, came in hot there. You instantly calmed me down, gave me a very valid
That's it.
reason. I was like, why the fuck? Aye, that makes a lot of sense.
I wonder if the mascot for the Michelin star is the Michelin man in a chef's white.
Well, no, because I happened to be reading about this earlier today as a coincidence. Because
Winky dink.
somebody on the internet was asking, why are tyres black?
Yeah. Why are they black?
It's because multiple reasons. If they were white, they would get dirty and they would look black, like in a couple of minutes. However, there is the rubber is impregnated with like some sort of carbonized, vulcanized
You know,
rubber
like this shit?
hardener.
My dad.
He would. He would all know all about it. So, tyres are black because they are.
Mm-hmm.
However, when the Michelin, I'll say it. I know.
Woohoo!
When the Michelin mascot was being designed, they didn't use black tyres, they used white tyres. So that's why he's made out of white tyres. And he still, to this day, is made out of
a white tyre.
white tyres, aye. So that's weird that all of that has been swimming about in the zeitgeist today. And all the disparate thoughts have managed to solidify. I'm still thinking about a kill floor, though.
A kill floor? What, like...
Never mind. Just
a
hot dogs and
trap?
all of
Alright.
that. Aye.
I think if you're turning your nose up at a hot dog, check yourself before you wreck yourself.
I mean, goes without saying, check yourself before you wreck yourself. I understand the point that you're making. I don't know if I would go as far as to say it's classist. I would retort by saying I think nobody should be forced to eat emulsified.
But then you open up the conversation around veganism and vegetarianism.
It's a law, innit?
It's a lot, but I just think, see, if you're being like, I'd never eat a turkey twizzler, then I'm like, well, you're missing out because turkey twizzlers were class. And still are class.
I'm in two ways about it.
Do you not like a turkey twizzler? When we were wee in primary school, the dinner ladies would put extra turkey twizzlers on, and then they'd come out and they'd bang trays and be like, who wants extra turkey twizzlers? And we'd all go like, and we'd go mental for turkey twizzlers.
Anything that's got that control over Wayne's, can it be good for you? Can it be?
Fills you up though. It's food.
It
The
is.
dietitian in work says she would rather you eat a McDonald's than not eat at all.
Aye.
I mean, we're talking about like people that potentially have disordered eating because they are from that background.
Do you know what I heard recently?
What?
Okay. Imagine this is like a TikTok, right? And you've got the wow, doo doo dee doo doo dee, like now how the wow, doo doo dee conspiracy music in the background,
Okay.
and you've got the voiceover. It's like, here's the answer to one thing.
You know, like JFK.
The CIA in 1957 did
CIA
a
in
covert
1959.
operation called
Yeah.
Branch Storm, all that sort of stuff.
Brainstorm.
Green Needle. Basically, right, imagine I press a switch and all the air in the room just disappears. Right? That looked as if it hurt. Also, I'm worried that imagine you just died. Imagine you just died. It isn't.
All the
Air. So imagine we get rid of all the air, you would know about it, and within a few seconds you'd be like, air is necessary to live. Fuck.
Yes.
Right? And you would know about that. I'm going to die unless I get air. So then, imagine for a second, it wasn't air, it was water. So it wouldn't be a couple of seconds, it would be after a couple of hours. You would be like, water is necessary to life. If I don't have water, I'm going to die. Fuck. So it wouldn't be seconds like air, it would be like a couple of hours for water, right?
It's like that you can live X amount of time without water, X amount of time.
Well, the next one up is food.
Right.
So if I take food away for you after like a few days, you know,
Somebody's asking why I'm sitting on the floor. It's just because there's no seats.
don't worry about it. And then, so you see how our perception of like humans understanding of time, those things are all necessary, but like one of them we need all the time, other things you don't need, but you do need it, you know, all of that. The guy who articulated it a lot quicker and more succinct than me ended off by saying exercise. Exercise, shut up. Exercise is the one thing.
Is that photo of the guy shagging the air?
I can't show that to
You
them.
can't.
I
You'd
can't
get-
show that.
You'd get kicked off.
There's a picture of a guy with like a full globe and he's just shagging the globe. You can see it.
And it came about because I was reading a book and it was saying how if you can't see something from an aerial view, how to judge the shape of it is like you do all the perimeter checks, and then they were saying like what a theory could be like if we went to space, there could have been a hole in Earth. And I was like, imagine that, and you were like, here you go.
Bang. There you go, look.
So exercise. So it's just
Basically exercise is as important as air, and we should all be doing it.
yeah.
What if we can't be bothered though?
What if you have a hard day at work and all you want to do is sit and scroll on your phone and watch wee dogs dance to music?
What then?
What then?
Do, 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 do. Anyway, I feel a wee bit unsettled in my tummy. And so what I'm going to do is end the stream
I just had a piece because
and come and maybe eat a piece and have a wee sit down. Maybe get a Rennie's on the go.
yeah, take the doggies out for a walk if you're feeling up for it.
Aye, we could do. I need
It's
to
lovely outside.
sort my blood sugar first or something. So I'll see you later. That's me away now, everybody. Sorry, I've not been talking to you for the past 20 minutes to put music on and dance with your dogs. I'm going to.
That was a very abrupt.
Well, I mean, this is me starting saying, Shurio, do you know anybody that's on, Rachel? And
No.
no. Are
Really?
you alright?
Aye. I've got some good conspiracy theories that would be like.
What's your conspiracy theories?
The childhood that we had.
We? I didn't.
Yeah, like as in our like millennial
Okay.
generation.
Right.
It has a similar childhood to cavemen, right? Because you went outside and played and stuff.
I'm not going to start the raid until you get to the end of this. What are you talking about?
So, not the conspiracy, but there's like a theory. Not a theory, but like I don't know what the word for it is because my brain's not working properly.
I don't know the word for it.
But sort of, is it Gen Z, Gen Alpha, and whoever comes after that, their childhood is so far away from our childhood that our childhood is more akin to medieval cavemen, prehistoric childhood. I was like going out playing with toys and stuff compared to the technology.
Because they've got iPads and we had Tamagotchis.
Yeah, but like we've got more in common. The older generations have more in common with like a caveman than the younger generations will have in common with us.
Do you think?
I think so. I think that's a good read.
I think that's some Daily Mail shit.
No, I think it makes sense. Like, how much technology. Like, basically, it was talking about like technology is so embedded in everybody's life now.
I mean, when I was a child, I was chipping PlayStations, but I'm a bit atypical.
I know, but you.
I suppose that if I was
played-
a caveman, I would be designing the wheel and shit like that, obviously.
Making fire.
Aye, fucking about with Flint. Do you know what I've not talked about this stream?
What?
The Apple design stuff.
Ooh, pish.
Well, that's maybe a conversation for tomorrow. Will we talk about all the Apple thing tomorrow? I'm going to read Spraggy, right? Spraggy's cool. He gambles professionally.
Can I just say that
We were out all the time. You sat with a computer. Aye, no regrets, man. I turned into the guy that I'm in now.
my little chat there about cavemen and stuff, it makes more sense when I know what I'm saying.
Sorry for... I didn't rip it. I understand.
But as I was saying, I was like...
I got what you were saying.
I already said it today to
Right,
Eve,
aye.
and it was like...
Did you say it good?
I said it really good. And she was like, oh my God, yeah. And I was like, oh my God, yeah. And now I can't remember what I said.
No, I totally understood the hang. So sorry if I was I a dick? And I'm like, that doesn't sound right.
No, it was like my brain was firing.
No,
before my mouth.
you articulated it really well. What they're saying is like, we don't have anything in common with how children grow up these days because all their TikToks and all their Dabbins.
dance.
Aye, all that shit. What the fuck they doing, man? See, back in my day, if you tried that, you'd get your head kicked in. Quite rightly.
Yeah, remember when you wore your fancy trousers and no one said anything, and then one guy said something, and we were like,
My
your
autism trousers.
Autism trousers, and we're like, back in the day, you couldn't go out with them. 'Cause you'd get
Oh,
pelters
aye,
and
aye,
they'd
aye,
walk
aye.
past
And
the
then
gate.
somebody actually gave me pelters.
And we were like,
Listen, there's no room for a magic trick, everybody. We're just going to go into a raid. See you later. Bye. Love you. Love you. Bye. See you later. See you.